Accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'll try to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you, they was blocking the shine. Now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents, and now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Y'all offer too little, sorry, my soul is real.
Hey everybody, thank y'all for tuning in on this wonderful Saturday night. Thank y'all for taking time out to rock with us tonight on this awesome topic. I'm super excited. I've been excited for like the last 3 weeks. I've been even more excited since we confirmed and did our sound check. So this is a much needed episode, and we're gonna get it started because we got a full panel tonight. So as usual, we're gonna kick it off with Lord, this little troublemaker here. The co-hostess with the mostest, Pinks.
Look, you said troublemaker, so I thought D was going first. I thought DA was going. Hey, everybody. Boop, here we go.
With that hair laid.
She got bundles today, yes.
Give it to him. All right, Killer, I see you. And the male co-hostess that drive us the mostest and crazy. We got DA.
Yo, what it do? What be? Y'all know who it is. It's your boy
doing
DA.
Why you look like midnight tonight? Like you ready to go
turn
right?
them lights on.
Hey, I'm
turn
getting
them
ready
on,
for Halloween.
Is that what it? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Halloween.
What Mike say? It's close to midnight. Yeah.
Oh,
that's what I'm about to do.
Oh, here we go. Oh Lord, we know how last week went. All right, There we go. So kicking in, we have some returning guests. Everybody pretty much that we are finna bring up is some return and have definitely made an impact on this podcast since we've started in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So hitting it off, K Smooth.
What's out there now? What's going on, everybody?
Okay,
how y'all doing?
I know you just didn't do that.
Y'all finna be on this tonight.
Okay.
All right. I don't know which the next troublemaker should be. Lord. I'm gonna go with the more peaceful troublemaker. Returning back, she was on the episode of Colorism. We got Sister E, a new author in the building tonight.
Good morning, everyone.
If you in this, good morning.
Hey. Who likes all the rain all the time? Sometimes we want a little light.
True that. Definitely. And of course, we have Nene in the building tonight.
What's up? Hi, guys.
You and Pinks with these slangings tonight. Y'all got that lane. Yeah, they got that Shirley Murdoch going with the hit it. All right. Now this troublemaker right here, Lord, I think everybody knows her from that one special clip. That it's a whole lot of pussy that's easier to get into besides mine. We have no other than Frankie.
Absolutely the truth. It's plenty of pussy out there to get. It's much easier than mine. I stand 10 toes down on that statement.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
So
good to see y'all.
Yes, everybody. I'm loving the panel tonight. I am. So last but not least, this doctor that we are bringing on to have this sexual health conversation, I done learned some new shit. And I'm 44 and I done learned some new shit. So it's open that you're never too old to learn at all. So
Right.
I definitely present to everyone Dr. Ken.
Hey y'all. Hi everybody.
Ken.
How y'all doing?
All right.
Yes. Yes. So I asked how she wanted to kick off, but I think we're going to kick off with the I don't want to say the elephant in the room, but I'm gonna say the most common thing that's coming up, that's popular, and it's hitting on a few different levels, and everybody's been calling it the Nick Cannon infection.
Okay.
So everybody knows that Nick Cannon had presented talking about all these women that have these odors, but it's women he messing with.
Mm-hmm.
So
we just going straight in.
Dr. Ken?
So I did a video on this as soon as he did the as soon as it came out, because a lot of men, he was saying that, you know, women should smell like water, and he was talking about women have issues with hygiene. And so I touched on a video and I was like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when it's coming from a certain source, we don't want to hear it. So on one level, he's right that, you know, there are women have an issue with hygiene, but on another issue, he is the cause. And many men can be the cause of this issue. So if he's having babies, that means that he's having unprotected sex with multiple women, and he's throwing off all of their pHs, causing them to have the issues. One of the reasons I always say bacterial vaginosis, when I talk about all of their, I'm hearing myself. When I talk about bacterial vaginosis, I say, I give the reasons for it. And when it comes to sex, it's because you have more than one partner, you have a new partner, or you have a partner that has more than one partner. And so if he's sticking it in different places, he's taking everybody's bacteria and their normal flora, and he's mixing it up. And now he's the cause of them not having a normal pH. So that's why, yeah, Nick Cannon can be the issue of his women having issues. And maybe they may not have a problem with hygiene. He may be the cause.
Right, Pink. Yes.
Oh, here you go. Here you go, because he got the coughing and look like he was from the hurl. Here you go. Yes,
That part.
So, how y'all doing tonight? Everybody doing all right? Everybody got their seatbelt on? Y'all buckled in?
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm just going ahead and get into it. So,
That's usually the
just for my clarification, you're saying that he took his oil stick, that's what we're gonna use, and dipped it in different suppositories. Okay. And each suppository he dips it in, he taking a little bit of that Earl and putting it in somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember biology lab where they had the petri dishes.
No, because I blew up my biology lab, so I was in there for like 2 weeks.
And biology
blew it up,
lab,
and they told me I couldn't come back. So
in biology lab, they have the petri dishes, and you put a little bacteria, and you come back and you see what grows, and you see little dots. But if you got this bacteria and this bacteria, and now we're mixing bacteria, you're gonna have each petri dish. If he's like going to one petri dish and not changing anything, he's now causing each petri dish to have everybody else's bacteria, which is changing their pH.
So he's taking basically. So he's just the incubator though. So they coochie was nasty.
No. So you can have. So when I say, if you go back to when I said, when it comes to sex, it can come from having multiple partners, having a new partner, or having a partner that has multiple partners. So if I have a new partner and my body has not adjusted to that new partner, he comes in with his brand new bacteria, and I'm over here chill. I'm cool. My flora is good. My pH is good. I don't know him. He's brand new. he comes in, he's going to throw my pH off. For probably the first few weeks, if this is going to be my partner, he's going to throw my pH off until my body adjusts to him. Now, if he's constantly having sex with multiple people, my pH will never get right. But if he's only with me, my body will adjust to it. So he's taking the normal flora. This is my normal flora. That's his normal flora. So we're going to adjust. But if he's dipping in the normal flora of multiple women, that those women are never going to adjust because it's too many different things going on.
True that.
You all right?
So
True that.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
does
Go ahead.
this come from him? Well, okay. Well, I know that he's having like kids back to back to back. I think what is like 3 or 4 within a few months. So
Yeah.
that means he's running from one back to the next one, and then back to her, and then back to her, and then within that span of time, he's sharing all 4 of the bacteria, bad bacteria with all 4 of them, and then wow, interesting.
But
And so you also have to remember, technically, he has made comments that he is sleeping with other people. They also just hadn't gotten pregnant.
Right.
So it's more than just that circle that he's dealing with.
and the thing is that as Dr. Ken mentioned, that a lot of men are always surprised when their woman is like, I think you're cheating.
Mhm.
Because when you go dip off and come back, even though you're like, you wore a condom, even though all of that stuff, that bacteria, all of that, you bringing it back and it throws off the system.
Exactly.
That system gets thrown to the wolves.
That's a key sign. A lot of women will say that's how they knew that their partner was cheating, because everything was fine. They know they're not doing anything wrong. They haven't made any changes, and all of a sudden their pH is off. They're getting a bacterial vaginosis. I haven't changed anything in my diet. I haven't changed any products. Why is my pH off? What are you doing? And that's their first clue.
Yeah. Nene, did you have a question?
Yes. And so Dr. Ken, Nick, we're just going to say Nick Cannon doing all of those and dipping and dapping and here, there, and everywhere. Can that woman or women, can that also cause bacterial vaginosis?
Yes, that's what's causing the bacterial vaginosis. The change in their pH is causing them to have that overgrowth of the bacteria that they don't want there. Now they're having the fishy odor. Now they're having more discharge. And he's going to tell them they have an issue with hygiene because he's brought them this new bacteria.
Right.
Isn't there another word?
And that's where men just don't quite understand a woman's, body and how it operates. And so even a bath can throw off a woman's pH balance.
Exactly. Using the wrong type of cleansers. I hear a lot of times women will say, I don't take baths because that gives me a BV. And I'm like, no, that's not what's giving you the BV. It's the cleanser that you may be using causing you to have the BV. And so even men in the type of cleanser they are using can cause a woman to have an issue. So especially if they're uncircumcised, then that cleanser can get trapped in that area. And then when they go to have intercourse, then that's causing a change in that woman's pH. So I always tell men, stay away from the X body wash. It's going to cause some irritation on your woman. So that can be an issue as well. If that man is not stepping out, it may be the soap he's using. Maybe he's using a new soap. So that's all of those things need to be explored. And that's when I tell women, just think about what you're doing. And then if you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, then before you jump to cheating, let's see if did you buy him a new soap? Did you do this? Did you do that? And then we can go and see what else could he be doing.
So you mean to tell me there's still uncircumcised men out here?
Yeah.
There's
a lot.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it if they're taught to clean properly. The problem is not enough of them are taught how to clean. So if they're taught how to clean properly, then it shouldn't be an issue.
I
Yes.
need to fix that problem.
Yes.
No,
Case
ma'am. I've been uncircumcised since birth, and I'm gonna stay that way. The problem is like she said, that a lot of men do not take the proper time to clean themselves. I've been taught this since the beginning of time to do that. I've been even taught this in grammar school by a teacher. She was telling young men, if you're not circumcised, how to clean yourselves.
She was trying to
And
molest y'all.
huh?
Yeah,
No,
I
she
don't
was
know
just
about that.
trying
I've
to.
been teaching a long time, and I
She
ain't
was just
never had that conversation.
She was
at
trying to
that.
get y'all to pull
Well,
it out.
well, at that point in time, she just made a reference to it, and I was like looking around, like I ain't got to worry about that because I clean myself. I've never had that problem.
There's a
That's
lot
what's
of
up.
men that do have it though. There's a lot of
So,
men that are not cleaning properly. They have something called smegma. It's stuck behind the skin. It gets stuck.
Hmm.
It smells. It's awful. They
Hmm.
get a lot of irritation, a lot of yeast infections, which again, that's another one they can spread to a woman and not realizing it. But there's a lot of men that aren't haven't been taught how to properly care for their uncircumcised penises.
Yeah, I'm glad I ate because this shit about to be nasty.
it's
Oh,
not nasty. It's
oh,
informative.
Jesus.
All right. So, Pink.
I do. So did somebody drop? Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
oh, okay.
she just
So
done
my
stopped, so
question
she done
is,
left.
and I won't keep referencing old boy and what he does, but my question is about, okay, we're talking about people dipping their sticks and stuff like that. But when you put your mouth on people, what's happening with that? Can you
So
explain?
I have a video. So I started this thing called Wapology, and it was initially for men because I wanted to teach. It was when Cardi B came out with the song, and I was like, I'm gonna teach y'all the difference between wet, wet, and wet because not all wet is good wet. And so I started off with just the basics of the different with a woman in her cycle of how the consistency and what is normal. And then I came back with what is abnormal. But then I did a second series and I said, let me tell you how you can now negatively affect the pH of the woman besides the sex part. But I talked about nails, dirty nails. I talked about if you got yuck mouth and you putting it down there, like you causing some issues. Like maybe you need to get that cavity fixed before you decide to go and have dinner. Like these are things that needs to be taken care of. So
Dr. Ken, can we just take
Wait,
a pause?
you done got me all
Dr.
like
Ken,
for real.
pause for a
So
second.
bad breath can cause.
I mean,
Yes.
if you have an overgrowth of bacteria in your mouth that is not supposed to be there,
So
you
wait,
if you got horrible cavities and your mouth is just yuck, why are you going to cause damage to the plate? Like,
Dr. Ken, thank you. Thank you for preaching on this. All of that
I
matters.
really felt that way.
Yeah, it's necessary for you to, and I just sometimes when I look in patients' mouths, sometimes I'm like, I hope you're not putting your mouth nowhere else, like, because that's gonna cause some problems. So, there's so many things that men can do that can cause. Like I tell them all the time, like not cleaning your nails. You go in trying to stick your fingers in places. Clean your nails. Go wash your hands. Having sweaty balls, you've been playing basketball, go clean up before you decide you're going to go and put that on a woman. That's just, men like to talk about women and their hygiene so much, but they fail to realize that they stink down there. Like, get that together before you go and put it on somebody else.
First of all, why y'all letting these dudes with halitosis kiss on y'all? Like,
but you don't know
So
how
I'm gonna
many
tell
men
y'all
out
this.
there have messed up teeth. What you say?
That part. So I purchased White Wap Wash. I like these products. I've been using them since I got them on Thursday. First of all, I'm gonna tell y'all know I don't vouch for nobody shit that I don't use myself. I ordered these, I think it was late. I told you like 11, like Monday. Before I woke up Tuesday morning, I had already got the confirmation that they were sent. I got these on Thursday. So I'm showing y'all these
what
because
is
my
it?
other ones is in the shower. I bought the regular and the sensitive. It's cleanser. It's the Wap Wash that she has created herself, which originally was for men, but it's for men and women.
So it's like Listerine
So-
for the coochie.
No, so I created the cleanser because it's a pH balance cleanser that helps women to maintain their pH. So instead of using, a lot of the washes out there, like your regular soaps, or using things like Summer's Eve that's got a bunch of chemicals that are not good for you, I created the WAP wash. But I created it because I was on TikTok live. And a lot of times I'm talking to people and I'm talking about the issues that they have and why they continuously getting BB. And one of the issues among those people on TikTok and my patients was their men were consistently causing them every time they had sex, they would get a BB. And I was like, well, maybe it's the cleanser that your partner is using. Maybe they're using something harsh. Maybe they're using Axe body wash. Maybe they're using Dial soap. I was like, so at the time I was like, honey pot, y'all need to come out with something for men and women. And someone said, you should do it. So I created WAP Wash, which is for women and the men that love them. So that's going to help. If it's women usually buy it and they have their partners use it. I've had men buy it and say they love it. And that's going to help them to maintain their partner's pH. I've had men that are not in relationships that say that, especially those that are uncircumcised again, that said that instead of having that irritation when they worked out and everything like that, it cleared everything up. So it's WAP Wash. This is the bottle here. And the one she was showing you was the travel size. But it's a pH plant-based cleanser that's for both men and women to maintain the pH.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you very
Wow.
much. I'm definitely gonna look into that.
Interesting.
And I guess Dr. Ken, another question is when you already have sensitive skin, I have learned throughout the years that certain condoms are going to flare me up.
Yep.
Cannot use every kind of spermicide. Can't use the condoms. Certain condoms will shut the system down. And all of that kind of pH. And I'm so glad that you talk about this and that you have a product out there. Definitely. I know I use a certain product. I'm not going to mention it, but I use a certain product to help keep that pH. And I know a lot of women want to use a washcloth.
So that's another big one. That is
that'll take you out. I stopped that in my 20s.
That they hate me for on TikTok. Because Black women, we are tied to the washcloth.
No, ma'am, give it up.
When I try to explain it to them, you got to see my comments. What am I supposed to wash with? And how is it supposed to work? And I tell them, your hands are going to be the cleanest thing at that moment. You need to wash your hands and then wash yourself. Like the wash. Well, I have a washcloth for this and a washcloth for that. But I don't care. Your hands at that moment is going to be the cleanest thing. And so I give them an example. When you're about to go eat, what do? You wash your hands. How many of y'all grabbing a washcloth to scrub your hands? No, you're using your own hands to wash your hands. And that is how you're going to get clean. When I go into surgery, I don't see no doctors out here with some washcloths. We are scrubbing with our hands. So that's going to be your cleanest thing. But a lot of women, and when you said in the beginning, like you're never too old to learn, especially with this, because you have to unlearn so much in this area because we've been taught so many things, so many wrong things. So a lot of when it comes to our feminine health, we need to unlearn and back up, and let's take some of this back and learn new things. So yes, I'm glad you mentioned that because a lot of women will have issue with that.
As I have told my friends, and I'm like, y'all got to get rid of that washcloth, and they're like, and you're the same thing. Like people are shocked, but my gyno told me in my 20s. When I was just having issue after issue after issue, she was like, that washcloth is not your friend. And ever since then, I know exactly what's going to set it off.
Mm-hmm. You have to know your body. And I tell people all the time, be aware of yourself. Know your body well enough to know when something isn't right. When something happens, you immediately know, well, that's not right. So you have to be aware. And you gotta know what it looks like. When I go talk to teenagers, I hand out little handheld mirrors and I tell them, go home and look at it. I need you to look at it. I need you to see what it feels like. I need you to know. They're like, well, why do I need to look at it? I'm like, well, how are you gonna know what's abnormal if you don't know what's normal? So I need you to look at it. Get familiar with it. So when something happens, that's not right.
Sounds like you advocating for masturbation. Okay.
That is not masturbation. Oh my God.
You giving mirrors to
Everything
teenagers.
touching yourself is not. It's
No,
You giving mirrors to
know your
teenagers.
body,
What
though.
you think they
No.
finna do? They ain't finna look.
PA. Now,
All you trying
sir,
to do is make a TikTok video with a mirror. What y'all
you're supposed to
talking
have a
about?
mirror, and
Let's keep it 100.
that's like saying putting in a tampon
Nene,
is
Nene,
sexual.
you got a question?
Yes. So, Dr. Ken, so you say you have a WAP wash. What about all these products that I see like on Facebook? People are advertising like their kitty suppositories or I forgot what was the other one about
Yanni pearls and all kind of stuff.
Johnny. Yeah, all of that. Or is that safe?
Okay, so
The steams.
I like to advise people to ask questions about what type of ingredients are in these products. I'm not a fan of putting anything in there except for I will suggest sometimes taking a tampon and soak it in and stuff so that you can get rid of the BV, like soaking it in coconut oil and tea tree oil. That's probably the furthest I'll go with inserting anything. I'm not a big fan of Yanni Pros and things like that. When it comes to these steams, I always say it's like a spa treatment. You don't need it, but it's not going to hurt. If it's done with herbals and natural stuff.
Right.
Cleansers, you got to wash your cleansers. I will say, I don't want to say a name because I don't have the bottle here, but I used to have my bottle, and I was like, before I created my own, I used to always talk about one product all the time, and it inspired my own product. But she recently changed some of the preservatives in her product, and those preservatives are endocrine disruptors. Those things are going to cause problems for your grandchildren. So if you haven't had children yet, and it's going to affect your go down to your DNA, and then when you have children, it's going to affect their DNA and their DNA. And it can cause endocrine issues in the future. And then, so a lot of those products like Summer's Eve and things like that, I tell people stay away from, because you look at the bottle and it's got like 30 ingredients and you don't know what any of those things are. So you got to start paying attention to what you're putting in your body. So when you see those on Instagram, on TikTok, I mean, you have, ask them what's in there, what ingredients are they using? And if you don't know what the ingredients are, you can look it up and find out, if this is going to be harmful to you.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you.
one of the things I was gonna ask you about. Since meeting started and took my question, like everybody's always talking about, like you said, the Yanni pearls and everything. Not only that, but you got all these. I'm gonna just keep it 100. All these sex toys and stuff like that. Yeah. So, is that safe? I mean, it's supposed to be for the arousal, but if the way you talking right now. It's like only thing you can do is let your coochie breathe. You can't touch it. You can't
You can do
enjoy it.
whatever you want to do with it.
It's just like window shopping. Just gotta look at it.
No, I'm totally okay with the toys. I just think you need to make sure you're cleaning it properly.
Right, you gotta
window shopping.
You're cleaning it properly. So I don't have. I mean, I'm not against any of those things. You can use those things. I'm against different products like medications or Yanni Pearl. I just feel like you don't need all of those things. If you clean properly, all that other stuff is unnecessary.
Like bleach.
I've heard people use bleach and I just can't get it in my mind why.
I know. I heard that too. That's why I got it from.
I'm like, why? Why do you need that? But if you're the vagina is so simple, and if you realize how simple it is, and you just use your hands and use a pH balance cleanser, you don't have to worry about nothing else. You don't need no boric acid suppositories. You don't need no Yanni pearls. You don't need no V-steam. I don't use nothing but a cleanser, and it's simple. You can use your toys. You can use whatever you want. Just make sure you're cleaning it.
But that goes back to something you just said, though. Like, I know we always say it all the time, like clean your hands and all that stuff. Everybody don't wash their hands.
No, they don't.
Everybody don't wash their sex.
Not just men.
And everybody don't wash their sex toys.
They need to.
You have to.
Damn, Kevin, you done fucked up the mood.
You have to.
Damn.
And on that note, thank you for tuning in. No, just
So I remember, yes. So on that note, and I'm glad we're talking about the sex toys because watching one of your lives, Dr. Ken, you made a comment about sex toys because sex toys typically get a bad rap, especially the rose. But you said that you actually need to use that, and you gave a reason. Can you explain that?
Wait, I say you need to use it. Did I?
It was something about using it
She
because
just
if you
trying to
don't use it,
advocate
it's
for her
like
use of
it
it.
that
That's all.
it gets numb or something. There,
No, somebody was
it was
saying.
like on.
Somebody was
Used, and I was
asking.
like,
They were asking if
"Excuse
using the
me."
rose can cause damage to your nerves, and I was like, no, it should not cause damage to your
Yeah.
nerve.
Mhm.
Your clitoris has over 800, like 8,000 nerve endings or something like that. It's like double the amount of a penis. You have so many nerve endings. It's not going to be damaged by a rose. It usually is damaged by age and by some hormonal issue. I personally don't like the rose because I feel like it's beating up on it. I'm like, that's just too rough. That's too like, I don't need all of that. That's too much for me. But I don't think it's going to cause any problems. It should not cause any loss of nerve endings or damage to your nerve.
She's saying that because she probably put hers to a vacuum and turn it on. That's what that is.
No, I turned
Plug
it
it up to
on all
the
the time. I
vacuum.
said, I don't. That's just too much. I don't need all that.
So I do have a question. I think someone else had their hand up earlier. So I want to, nobody else? Uh,
I think it was Nene.
Yes, Nina.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Okay. I have a question. Getting older and in this new season, my purse ain't person like it used to. And one of the issues that I am having, and I can just say it's flat out, that is dryness throughout the day. And I'm trying not to use because I am sensitive and anything will throw this monkey off. And so I cannot use every type of product. But how do you, okay, TK, you okay?
I'm good. I wasn't expecting that, but I'm good.
Yeah. What do you recommend in this season of life?
Okay, so I always, no matter what the issue is, I try to give out the natural treatment and then the conventional treatment. Your conventional treatment, I lost my screen just now. The conventional treatment is going to be estrogen, topical estrogen. That's going to help with dryness. That's going to help with any irritation. That's your conventional treatment. I believe that there's different herbs and supplements that you can take. I have a supplement that has multiple herbs in there that's all natural that stimulate lubrication that is natural. What it does is it balances your hormones and it helps to balance, give you that. I take it personally for my PMDD because I like PMS, but it helps to increase sex drive and it helps with lubrication. So I always tell people to go to my TikTok and watch because I'm a horrible salesperson. So I'm not always trying to sell my products, but I want them to watch the video where I list some of the ingredients. And there's like 3 or 4 ingredients that help with lubrication. And I can give them to you later. I can't think of them on the top of my head, but there are certain herbs that you can take that help with lubrication. So one of my customers tell me she takes my G-Spot supplement and it's like a river. She was like, girl, it's like a river down there. It was just too wet all day. So she ended up taking 1 pill versus 2 pills. So it's just, there's different things that you can do for that. There's always a treatment for it.
So what is happening to my body? Like what is this?
It's hormonal. Your hormones are fluctuating. Some hormones are going down, some hormones are going up. And that's part of premenopausal, perimenopausal, getting to menopause and and you will start to have dryness. That's one of the things that happens. That's a sign of getting, close to menopause.
I'm telling you right now, this is some bull.
Yeah, there's dryness.
So that little phrase of like, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. That don't apply to that.
No, because what happens after the menopause, after everything evens out, usually women have higher sex drive after they reach that peak, and then they get back to normal. So it's a hormonal time of your life that just happens and just makes everything miserable. Yes, ma'am.
All right, so Nene.
I was raised by my grandmother and I'm 50. I'm about to be 53 in November. And I had a hysterectomy, a partial hysterectomy, when I was 36 years old. Now, at the time I was married, and I was done with kids, of course, but it felt like once I did that, my sex drive did increase. And so but I noticed that, of course, at like Frankie stated, that I wasn't as moist anymore, like I was before. Is that due to the lack of estrogen that's
It's
now going through my body?
it's due to you had a partial, so it's due to anatomically your body. If you think about the way I got to take out a diagram, y'all. A vagina. You take
Bam.
it out when you have a hysterectomy. You leave these, but you take
Yes.
this out. This cervix that is always giving you some moisture is no longer giving you moisture because this is no longer there. So
Right. Okay.
anatomically, you're missing some lubrication that you would have normally gotten.
Okay.
So you still have your ovaries, so you still have a sex drive, but you're not getting the moisture that you're gonna get moisture anyway in your vagina, but then you're not getting that cervical lubrication that you were getting before. So that's why you're getting some dryness.
So you said that you have products that are more safer, because I see these products and okay, yeah, go ahead and plug it. You're here,
Yeah.
you're on.
This
Plug
is
it. Plug your stuff. Yes, and what's the name of that?
This is G-spot. G-spot is it helps with arousal response. It improves in performance. And people are like, how does it improve performance? Because it improves the moisture, it improves
Yes.
lubrication, it increases orgasms, it increases the strength of your orgasms. So in the way I like it, because a lot of times women are losing sex drive not because of their partner, or because they're cheating, or because of this, or emotionally, is because they're taking on too much mentally. And what it helps you do is it helps to elevate the mood. It helps to kind of calm your anxiety. And so I love it for that reason, not because it doesn't just physically help you. It helps you by elevating your mood as well.
So you getting them high.
It's called G-spot.
Sounds like stalker in a bottle to me.
What'd you say?
Stalker in a bottle. They're gonna be
Stalker in a bottle. Yeah.
Keeping the subject on the vagina.
This whole lubrication and waterfalls like TLC and shit. What you mentioned earlier, there's a good one, a bad one, and a run the fuck away one. What's the difference?
Wait, what did I say?
Oh, when
You're talking about the juice is flowing, and you said there's good wet, bad wet, and I just threw
I said that I just want to teach the guys between wet, and wet, because not all wet is good wet.
Yeah, just shit. Women need to know too. Come on.
Yeah, right. And so what happened was with Wapology, I started off trying to teach men, and then I realized women needed to hear this as well. And so now it's completely directed to women. But there's different levels of wetness when it comes to if a woman's not on birth control. And I love to talk about this because men, it kind of hurts y'all egos for a second. Because if a woman's not on birth control, she's going to go through different stages. So after her period comes, she's going to have almost no discharge. Then it's going to get sticky. Then it's going to start to get a little thicker. When she's getting closer to ovulation, it's going to get stretchy and clear. And it's going to be like egg white, clear, stretchy egg white. After she ovulates, it gets creamy. So I always tell guys, you did not make her cream. She was going to cream anyway. So, that's just part of her cycle. So if she's not on birth control, that was going to happen. If she's on birth control pills, she's probably creaming throughout, because that's what the birth control does. It increases the discharge, makes it thicker, and it works in several ways. One of the ways is to block the sperm. So she's going to have a thick, creamy discharge. And so all of those discharges are normal. It starts to get abnormal when you start looking at color, consistency, and odor. So that's where I was talking about the difference in wet. Look at his face.
Ariel, your face is telling.
He wasn't ready.
I wasn't. I was like, wait, hold on, what?
So what she's saying is it's not you, D.
I ain't worried about that part. I ain't worried. Hey, trust and
It's
believe.
not you, DA. It's the
Trust
woman.
me. I keep look here. I keep them turned on. The thing is, I'm listening to all this stuff, and the whole time I'm thinking like when they show it on them little videos when they be wet and stuff and creaming, I'm like, damn, she got a yeast infection, so that's just natural. Okay.
Oh
my
you just
goodness.
told too much of your business right now.
Man, I'm telling you.
Too much of your business.
So now I can look at it as they're ovulating and they're not on birth control.
Right.
So wait, when they're ovulating, it's gonna be clear, stretchy. So you ever see people like do this and it stretches and it's clear and stretchy. That's because that's
it
because
look like silly
I've seen that.
In order for the sperm to be able to, God was ready for you to have some kids. So now it's gonna help the sperm be able to pass and go through.
Like a slip and slide.
Yes. After you ovulate, it becomes creamy and it's like thick white creamy.
She blocking.
Okay.
Yeah, that part.
Now.
So slime is good and cream is bad. Got it.
No, cream is not bad.
Cream is not bad.
Cream is normal.
It's just you didn't do it.
Yeah, my point, and that's the ego issue, is that you didn't cause her to cream. She was gonna cream regardless.
Exactly.
Well, according to you, Dr. Ken, he probably did if he got a dirty dick.
Oh my God.
So I was talking about the normal. That's the normal one. Now, if you got abnormal cream, you're gonna have an odor with it. If you got an odor with it, you got a fishy odor, then he caused it. Or
smelling like hot garbage.
Oh my gosh. For everybody that's asking, I put the link in the comments. So I did do that because I've been getting text messages and everything of everybody asking me for the website. So yes. So while we're having this conversation of all, I know you have your visual. Can you go over the proper way to Pinks? Fix your eyes, Pinks. It's okay. Everybody like, wait a minute, what are we doing? Can you go over the visual?
Pinks, you got to do the lawyer joint. You got to call the lawyer. Call the lawyer. We clear?
Can you go over the proper way for a woman to clean herself?
Okay. So first of all, we're not using washcloths. We're going to use a pH balanced cleanser. You're going to use your hands. My little model here. Vagina.
Look at I'm not childish. I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting you to pull out a coochie.
Yes, I got a whole little model here. I was so excited when I got this. It took me forever to get it. I was so excited.
Shit, I'll be excited too.
I would be excited if I was her too.
I'm pretty sure. To explain things to people, sometimes you just don't have enough. So
yes, you gotta have visual.
Using your fingers and you're cleaning only this outside area. This is called the vulva. The vagina is actually inside that hole right here. So you're not going inside this hole. Your vagina is self-cleaning. The point of discharge is to clean your vagina. So a lot of people are afraid of discharge, but that is normal. That is supposed to clean your vagina. So you do not put anything in here to clean. You only clean the outside. That's in between. This is labia majora, in between the lips. You can go under the hood of the clitoris. You can go all around in there. You're just not going in the hole. So using your hands to do that and then rinsing it off. It's so simple. You just need to know not to go inside of there. That's it.
So I've seen women in the shower soap up a wash rag and wash on the inside of their vagina. And they scrubbed and washed. So that was the wrong way of doing it?
Yeah, it's unnecessary. The inside of your vagina is going to clean itself. You don't need to do all of that. A lot of times what they're doing is they're putting up soap up there that's going to cause irritation in the future, because how do you really go in there and rinse all of that out? It's impossible. Your vagina is going to clean itself. So, and even people think about after sex. It's always weird to talk about that after
I was
sex.
going to go there too.
And I'll talk about this on my live, and people, because I'm always like, oh, shucks, this is just TMI. But how do I get it from out of me when, after I have sex? You either take that shower head or you just go sit on the toilet and you wait till you hear the poop. It's like it's going to come out on its own.
Get the water hose.
Just let it come on its own.
Yeah.
So wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nina.
You're saying, Dr. Ken, that I know, like, I don't really douche.
Good.
I really never had. I mean, I don't know. I know my grandmother used to try to make me, but I never wanted to. I just felt like that was weird. So I've never. I think maybe one time I did try, and the time that I did try, I felt like I was just itching up there.
Yeah,
all the time.
Douching is one of those things that you have to unlearn. So I've had these seminars where I talk to young girls and their mothers and grandmothers are there, and they're like, "What? I'm douching?" Like, no, you're not supposed to douche. Like,
no,
that's a no-go. Douching is not supposed to happen. Unfortunately. Right. Unfortunately, there's so many men out there that are still telling women that they need to go douche. And that's wrong. That's not how it's supposed to work.
Tell them they need to go douche their throat. But check this out. On a serious note, though, like listening to this, it makes me wonder how many like cervical cancers and ovarian cancers and all the other the cancers of the coochie came from all the ingredients that were in the stuff that goes in the coochie.
So a lot of, like, when it comes to menstrual pads and tampons, a lot of those things are made with ingredients that should not be used. And they've found that, it can cause more severe cramping, it can cause more symptoms. Having sex with multiple partners, and I love to tell women this and my patients this, because people think I call out men all the time, but I call out my female patients. You didn't came here and you got tested for STDs 5 times this year. How many people are you sleeping with? Understand that the more people you sleep with unprotected, the more you increase your risk of having HPV and cervical cancer. They don't get that. There's like scientific evidence that shows the more people you're having sex with, the more likely you are to get cervical cancer. They're not getting it. So that's important for women to know as well. We talk about the men and how they can bring these things in, but if you're sleeping with multiple people, that's why you keep getting BV as well. So don't just blame it on the men all the time. Women as well need to kind of watch when they're having, if you're going to have unprotected sex, how many men are you going to have unprotected sex with this year? How many times are you going to come and get tested? Like, you got to think about what you're doing to your body.
Just a side note, Dr. I just wanted to mention, I have had the absolute pleasure and blessing of having a Black woman gyno for the last 20 years. And it has been absolutely changed that I feel like my sexual health, because she did have those conversations and she did say those things and was able to say it in a way that I could understand. Like, like Mandingo dicks are not for you. Like, those are not for you. You don't have the space in between here and there to be able to do all of those tricks and all that she's like, that's not for you. But she was able to say that because, I mean, we're basically the same age.
Right.
Yeah. And I wish it was more Black doctors and female doctors able to have those conversations with their patients, that it would make a lot of difference. And it would, like you said, cut down on these things of BVs and then the most extreme cancers.
I'm a big advocate for Black people seeing Black doctors. And it's not anything, people take offense to me saying that sometimes, but it's a cultural thing. even with my Black male patients, I've had white women that a nurse practitioner that I work with try to tell a Black man something. I was like, don't worry about it. Let me see him next time, because I know that I'm going to be able to stress the importance of his diet and stress all these the importance of this. He already don't trust you. Like, so let me talk to him. When it comes to women, my GYN is Black. And she taught me how to do a pap smear on another patient. Like, I was like, I'm about to start this job. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. And she taught me how to do a pap smear. And it's because we had that relationship. And so when I have my patients, I always talk to my patients like they're my family. I'm going to be straight up with them. I'm going to be real with them. And it's more comfortable for me to do that, especially when they're Black, because that's like my family member that I'm looking at. And it's easy for me to say these things. I've had patients that I've had my coworkers say, did you just tell that patient that? I had this girl who was kind of overweight, and she came in the office and she had these shorts on and shirt. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, did you roll out of bed and come in here? And she was like, what? And I had to tell her, you're not appropriate for coming into the clinic. And nobody else is going to tell you, but this is not appropriate. This is not how you come in here. You're not going to get respect from anybody walking in anywhere like that. And she was kind of mad with me, but she came back like a month later and she told me thank you. So it's just, I don't think a white person would have told her that. And if a white person would have talked about her, she would be ready to fight. So I think we should have Black doctors. I think it because we understand our own culture. When I'm teaching about diet and exercise, when I'm teaching about, I know that I can't tell this person to go eat this because I know what their diet looks like at home. So I can say, okay, let's try to make some adjustments. Whereas, a white provider may not understand the cultural differences that we go through. So I'm a big advocate for having a Black doctor, having a Black PA, having a Black nurse practitioner, because you're going to be able to communicate better with that provider.
Nene?
So in piggybacking off of what you just said about the diet and their diets and all of that, can men's diet of like what they eat affect their sperm, and that sometimes can affect the woman as well?
It can. I did a video recently on TikTok about the other causes of odor besides bacterial vaginosis. As far as what the woman can be doing, it could be the woman's diet. It could be the man's diet. Fishy odor sometimes can come from a woman that's eating way too much fish. It can come from, you can have a pungent odor if you're eating certain foods, you're eating constant garlic, or you're eating certain things. These things are coming through your pores. So a very unclean, a processed diet can cause changes in the smell and changes in the consistency of discharge. A guy, on the other hand, he can cause changes in a woman's pH by ejaculating in her if his diet is very, very poor as well. And again, getting into TMI, I've had women that tell me that they know that their partner tastes different when they're not eating right. So it makes a huge difference.
Does it taste like chicken?
You know what?
I'm about sick of him.
Exactly.
I have a question since you brought up eating and tasting different. By the way, sis, hand over Mandingo over here. But so is it true that when the women eat pineapples or more pineapples, it helps them to taste better?
Yep. Okay. That is a true statement. It helps.
That's a true statement. Wow.
Yep. And then it helps with it has a lot of water in it too, so it helps the discharge. It just helps with moisture. That's a true statement.
Dr. Ken, don't be telling these ladies that's out there in the world watching that, because they're gonna be trying to drink all the Kool-Aid and stuff. Talking about,
it's a pineapple.
Sugar.
It's pineapple.
Just pineapples, and staying away from
that's even worse.
Stay away from a lot of sugars, because if they're taking in pineapples that are in heavy syrup, now they can cause themselves to have a yeast infection having too much sugar. So they got to watch that.
See, gotta balance.
So moderation with everything.
So that only goes for pineapples and not strawberries?
Strawberries doesn't have much moisture in it. It's not going to really help anything.
So that means you can't be
I don't
putting
know if you
strawberries in
guys
places.
have ever juiced using a juicer with like vegetables and stuff like that. If you ever juice and get one of those juices and you put all the greens in there, you put one slice of pineapple, it changes the whole flavor of everything to pineapple. So that's how serious pineapples are. Yeah. Like try juicing. Like get you a juicer. You can get so healthy by putting nothing but kale, all the greens you want to put in there. Put one slice of pineapple in there. It takes the flavor. It'll taste like pineapple.
Okay, I might consider that, but I never considered it before because I ain't ready to drink my fruits and my vegetables yet. I still got teeth. So I ain't ready. So we got a question, and I love this question because you talked about it a couple of weeks ago, actually, which made me think otherwise and actually consider using a cup. So the person posted, since pads and tampons are said to have chemicals, what is another option to use?
Okay, just like the hand washing, this is always a serious topic because people are like, what? I don't want to use that. I was the same way when I was younger. I was like, ew, that looks disgusting. But I will say before I even show it to you that this is one of the cleanest methods. Once you use it, the people that use it, once they say they use it, they never go back. So they're menstrual cups and menstrual disc. They're silicone, medical grade silicone. They decrease your like a lot of people will get yeast infections and bacterial vaginosis after their periods, and it's because of the tampons and the pads. So you will decrease the instance of that, and also helps with the cramps and a lot of the like period symptoms that people have. So yeah, the disc and a cup.
And when do you say because I have nieces that are, they just now have started their periods, that 12 and 13. Do you recommend the cups at this time?
I mean, it's not going to hurt them. I'm very weird about when it comes to young girls and certain things, and they're not familiar. I think they should gain familiarity with their vaginas, take some time, a couple years before they do that. Once they feel like maybe after they've had sex, or even if they're in a lot of sports and they use tampons now, then maybe later on they can do it. It takes an awareness of yourself for you to be able to use it. I mean, to me, to properly use it and to not have any like mishaps, I feel like you need to insert 2 fingers and find your cervix. I know at 14 I had never inserted no 2 fingers up in my vagina, so I just don't see a 14-year-old using it. I just think it's one of those things that comes with maturity. Now, if you have a 15-year-old, 14-year-old that's sexually active and they become aware and they know everything, go ahead, use a cup. I just know for me personally, I wasn't sticking 2 fingers to try to find my cervix at that age. Like, no, that's not happening. So
I'm glad you said that because that's what I was going to ask you about.
Yeah. Go ahead. What you say, DA?
No, that's what I was going to ask you about because, like a real talk, like trying to do all that can get like real messy for a grown up. So now you're trying to ask kids that can't pee straight.
Right. I think it takes a level of maturity. It takes a huge level. Even I was 20. I hadn't hit 30 yet, and I was working in a Navy base. I remember walking into the pharmacy and seeing the disc in the cup and sending a picture to my friends in group chat like, ew, who would do this? This is disgusting, And it took me some growth to be able to see that I was childish in that moment and that I had to learn and realizing that there was other ways. But I remember vividly that group text, and I know that I was almost 30 when I thought it was gross. And then so I see a lot of women when they say it's gross, I'm like, you got to grow up. So I just wouldn't expect teenagers to want to do that and to be ready to do it.
That's what that's
I learned about.
That's the direction I've gone. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I learned about that cup a couple of weeks ago. Me and my mom was watching something on YouTube, and they said 3 methods. And then when they said the cup, I looked at my mom. I said, "You know about the cup?" She was like, "No, I didn't know about the cup." And I was just like sitting there like, how the hell does that work? But it's a method.
It works. And just for the women out there who are afraid to try it, give it a try. I only tried it because there was a free thing. They were like, try the cup for free. And so I ordered it and I looked at it for a little while and I was like, now how am I supposed to do this? And I promise you, I haven't bought another tampon or a pad after I figured out how to use it. I was like, this is amazing. Like, how have I not been doing this all this time? I don't have to go to the store and buy anything. It's actually cleaner. I don't know if you want me to go into the deepness of how it's cleaner, but it's actually cleaner.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Just because with the tampon, the blood is like, I don't have the blood is just coming out and you're soaking the tampon. And actually the tampon, you thinking that you have a super absorbency tampon and it's not absorbing as much as you think it is, but it's just a mess. You pull it out, you just got blood all over the place, right? With I
remember those days.
With a cup, you insert it into the vagina, it seals against the cervix, it fills up with blood, you pinch it, pull it out, pour it out, your vagina is clean. You insert it back, it goes right around your cervix again, if you're doing it properly. Now, when it's not improperly, you're going to have blood all on the sides, and that means that it just wasn't in the right place. And so that's why I talk to people about finding your cervix so you know where you're pushing it, knowing where to insert it. So that's how it's cleaner. Now, the disc is a little different. I don't like the disc because it has this thing called auto dumping. So when you sit down, vagina, it goes in and there's a pelvic bone right here and it sits there. And when you sit down, it leaks and it pours out for you, which I'm not a fan of. So it's some people love it, some people don't. But with the cup, it's a thing.
Yeah. You pulling coochies out of everywhere. I'm just like,
now I got a question.
I love this. I absolutely love it.
I got a question.
Yeah, love it.
This is a question that's for the women. Now, if they use the cup, now what if they say that I've always been a heavy bleeder, I couldn't use something like that? Does that cup pertain to them, or do they still use the other?
So I did a video to prove a lot of women wrong, because they were like, that cup is not going to work for me. So this is actually a small cup. You don't see the large cup because that's the ones I use. So the ones I order, they always come with 2 in a pack. I did a video using a large cup, and I put like juice in there, and I put 4 or 5 tampons in there to soak that up, and to show them that this cup is holding the amount of 4 to 5 super absorbency tampons. So a lot of times women will think, oh, I'm a heavy bleeder, and they'll realize you're not as heavy as you think you are. The tampon companies made you think that this thing was super absorbency, and it doesn't really hold that much, and you're not bleeding as much as you think you are. Those pads are not as absorbent as you think they are. Once you start using cups, you realize, dang, I don't even bleed as much as I thought I did.
Okay.
Yeah. She made me a whole believer after watching that episode. I was like,
I've had people on TikTok that come and say, I started using the cup after last week, and oh my God, it was so good.
Because that was my thing. I always thought it was very messy. And I was like, hell no, I don't want no more mess than what I already got.
Right.
But after you did the demonstration and you still had your moderator then, and she came on and she even showed how to insert a different way, as well as how to loosen, undo it, the suction in it to where it comes out just like that, bam, dump, go on about your business, and you live to see another day.
And it's not messy at all.
So it's suction in there.
Hold on.
It's suction in there.
Yeah, wow. Y'all got suction, y'all got cups, y'all got shit that pop. What the hell?
It suctions to your cervix so that it doesn't move. So a lot of times people are like, well, I'm active. Will it move? It won't move unless you break the seal.
So y'all got steel belted cups, huh?
So just trying to get an idea of how that works. So when you take it out, you said you take it out and you dump it and then you insert it back in. So do you not rinse it out or what?
You rinse it out. So these cups can stay in your body for 8 to 12 hours. This is a small cup. Remember, it's a little, there's one that's a little bit bigger than this. It can stay in there for 8 to 12 hours. People who are super heavy bleeders may take theirs out every 4 to 6 hours. So most of the time you're going to be in a place where you can actually rinse it. A lot of times people are like, well, what happens when I'm out in public? Most likely, if you're out in public, you won't have to change that cup right away. I know when I have to change my cup because it starts to get heavy. And I'm like, oh, wait, I'm probably went a little too long with this. So I can go, still, it won't make a mess. I can go, I dig in there and I pinch this and I pull it out and I pour it out. And if I'm in a public place, if I'm in a public place with a sink, I can rinse it. Or if I'm in a stall, I usually have those like wipes with me and I'll wipe it out and reinsert.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I got a question. And no, this is all serious. It's going to come out crazy. I'm letting you know now. But I'm being serious. So you keep saying that this is a small cup, this is a small cup, this is a small cup. Do they come in different sizes? Like if somebody has a small coochie versus a large coochie?
It's not the size of the vagina, the coochie, or whatever. This is your small cup. Let's say for a person who's never had a baby, who's younger, her cervix is going to be smaller. And then there's a larger cup and it's a little wider. It's not that much wider, just a little bit wider. And it's for somebody who may be a heavier bleeder or somebody who has a larger cervix. So when a woman has a baby, her cervix opens and it stretches out. So over time, her cervix will get larger. If I go and do a vaginal exam on a person who's never had a baby, who's 20 years old, her cervix is actually this small, like it's tight and small. And as you get older, you start to see a larger cervix. So that's why you need a larger cup.
Okay, fellas, y'all heard that, right? So I don't want y'all be talking, oh, she got an old big monster coochie now. Right? I heard that. She broke it down.
So I guess my question is for those of us that have had kids, no matter if it was vaginally or, cesarean or whatever, is it best to just start with the large cup and just see how that works for you?
That goes with that awareness where I'm like, go in there and feel for it. Take your finger, 2 fingers. You'll feel the difference you'll feel what your GYN feels. You'll feel the difference between your vaginal tissue. And then when you get to your cervix, you'll feel it's smooth, and go around it with your finger and feel how large it is. If it's narrow, if it's small, then you can go with that small cup. But if you feel like, okay, it's large, I need a larger cup. Usually when you order cups or buy cups, they come in they'll put 2 sizes in a box.
Okay.
What if she got big fingers?
Oh my! You know what?
What if she used 3 fingers?
No,
you can't really use 3 fingers.
Man.
No, I'm asking serious questions. Like, because for real, like I've seen some ladies that played basketball. Their hands were about big as mine.
Yeah, I'm just saying, the feel of it. You inserting and then you're feeling. It's not an easy thing to do that on yourself. So I mean, once you get there, you feel it and feel how wide it is, how big it is. Or if you want to take them and stretch your fingers out to see how wide the width is, you can do that. But it doesn't really. It's not based on like her size of her fingers. It's just what she feels.
Okay.
So we have a question in the comments. It says, these are great talking points. I see the panel is mostly ladies. That's because the rest of the men were scared. But it said, what's the best way for dads to talk to daughters about personal body issues?
Is that for me or for that?
Yeah, that's
okay. I really believe, so this is why I do this a lot. I have these seminars with young girls because I feel like even their mothers sometimes can have difficulty talking to them about certain issues. It needs to be a point where maybe he gets another woman to talk to her, because at a young age, that's very embarrassing for a young girl. Her personal issues are super embarrassing. And dad talking to me about my vagina, it's just, I'm not hearing anything he's saying. So it may be something you may want to point out to her or show her, where she can watch some things on hygiene. I mean, I'm on TikTok all the time and I have a bunch of videos on vaginal hygiene if you want to just show her that way and have her to watch those videos. But it's a very touchy subject because at that age, they're super embarrassed anyway.
Right.
And I don't think you're going to go very far with that conversation.
What if there's like in a situation they're the only parent?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's some videos that maybe he can show her, or say, here, take a look at this. You know, you may want to watch this. I don't know. I'm a daddy's girl. My daddy's right out there in the living room. I just can't see. Like, I close the door when I'm talking about this, and I get quiet when if he walks in here when I'm doing a Wapology session. I've lived with the man my whole life, as a child. So I can't see having those conversations with my dad. And I look at other young girls and they are super embarrassed. Even when I'm talking to them, they start off giggling the whole time and then they get serious. And it's because they are embarrassed in the beginning. So it has to be something, I don't know what type of relationship they have. I don't know if it's something that he can show videos or he can maybe give her a book on something or send her a link of something. I can't give any advice on that. I don't know if you other ladies can give advice on that. I just know that as a young teenager, that's a very embarrassing conversation, whether it's a man or a woman.
Right. For me, from my experience as a teacher for the last, 20 years and doing middle school, this is when they're getting that period and having that. Men have asked when they've been the single dad and they're like, I think she's going to get her period. Or I think she's going to start a period. Like, how do I have this conversation? I'm like, find a woman friend, because even though you and your daughter can have a great relationship and communicate, it is something about a body that she knows immediately now that you don't have the same issue.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you just can't, you cannot
relate.
And so I think that going out and seeking those other things, and like you said, with the way that social media and being able to be a conscientious consumer of what you put in front of your child, like you need to watch it first before you ever put that in front of your child. I mean, as a woman, whatever you're going to do, there are videos and you want to watch that first, have your own questions, get your own questions answered, and then put that product in front of your child.
So let's flip it. How can you help a man be comfortable with these conversations?
I think it's just manning up, like just understanding that it's gonna be uncomfortable. Like you have to be okay with being uncomfortable. And a lot of times women, we're put in uncomfortable situations and we just have to deal with it. And I think when it comes to women in our body, men don't want to have these conversations because it's uncomfortable, but they just have to man up and sit through the discomfort. I don't think it'll ever get super comfortable. It's not going to be like, oh yeah, if it is comfortable, then I'm looking at him like, why is it so comfortable for you? But I think it's just understanding that you got to be a man about it and just deal with it.
I agree.
So if he's comfortable with it, it's an issue. But if he ain't uncomfortable with it,
well, I'm saying, like, if it's the first time you're having this conversation, you're all in it, then I might look at you like that's kind of weird. Like if I have a patient that's like, yeah, doc, give me a shot. Like, that's weird. Like I understand like that it's gonna be it's gonna be uncomfortable. It's just like knowing that this is uncomfortable, but I'm ready to sit in here, sit in my discomfort and learn what I need to learn and understand what I need to understand.
I did. I talked to my two stepdaughters at the time. I believe it was second and third grade, and I noticed how some of the kids was talking in the classroom, and I just sat them down and I said, "Are the kids in your classroom saying this, and this?" And they start giggling and laughing, and I said, "No, that's what you say in the street, in the classroom or whatever." But I said, but the medical terms for it is this and this, and that's this and that's that. And I just was straight up honest with them, and they seemed to soak it in. And was like, okay,
yeah. I think it could work. I think it just depends on your relationship with them. And like you said, they started giggling, but I think if you're able to talk to them, I think that kind of going back and forth conversation might be difficult. Trying to get them to talk back to you might be an issue, but you giving them that information, they may be able to soak that in. A lot of times I feel like young girls fathers and older brothers should talk to these young girls, especially when it comes to sexual things, to let them know that, let them so they don't get played in situations, so they understand certain things in situations. So yeah, I'm all for that. I just know that there's going to be some embarrassment, and when it comes to teaching and making sure that they understand certain aspects of, you know, female hygiene and, you know, using products, it may require a woman because you need some feedback to make sure they understand. But certain principles may be okay for a man to give, you know, teach a woman or a young lady.
That part.
This comment is sad that men can be inside and lick it, but can't talk about how to keep it healthy.
Thank
Man,
you.
hold on, Paul. Okay. It's a
Somebody
whole
was on
bunch of
the
shit that
live the
people
other
put in
day.
their mouth that they ain't supposed to.
But you know, somebody was on the live the other day and I was talking about it and I tried to get him to stay in and he was like, well, I can't. I was like, maybe it's something that you can learn for your partner. He's like, I can't teach a woman how to be healthy or whatever. And I said, but you can know when she's unhealthy or you can know when something's going on. If you're going to be with her and you're going to enjoy this part of her body, just, you know, more than anybody, then you should know that about the health of that body. But a lot of men, they don't want to have those conversations. They don't want to learn. They talk about, as soon as you say period, they're running the other way. And I'm like, that's very childish. You need to grow up.
Very
childish. Yeah. So, and we was talking about this before we started. There was an episode Angela Yee had, and she had this guy on there talking, and they were talking about just like we're talking now. He was saying that his person that he's with, his significant other, he knows when her cycle is about to start. Like,
I
it's
remember that
about,
episode.
like, if you're with a person, why aren't you in tune with that person?
Mm-hmm. I used to keep up
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, because you were trying to get on. That's why you trying to time it. So you trying to get in the back door. That's what you trying to do. But nah,
But it's true.
Yeah.
Men should be in tune. If they're with a woman and they're with a woman for a period of time, they should be in tune with that woman's body and what is going on with her body. You should know that, okay, on the 9th of every month, she's probably gonna start her menstrual cycle.
But what if it's
Or, you
irregular?
know, around that time she's gonna start. They should be in tune with that and know that. So it shouldn't be a guessing game or, hey baby, are you you know, you bleeding yet, you know, and stuff like that. Instead of asking, they should already know.
And if they learn the way the cycle goes, again, if a woman's not on birth control and they learn how her cycle is, and they learn, if they listen to my Wapology and they start to pay attention to discharge, they're going to know that guaranteed moment that they're going to be able to have sex, because they're going to know, oh yeah, she's ready. I know at this point her sex drive is up. Like, if they know, they pay attention, they'll know those things. They'll know that when it gets closer, that's why her mood is bad. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Let me back off. This has nothing to do with me. So they'll be able to know those things. I think they should.
Now I got another question. When the time changes, you know, fall back, spring forward, does that change the time of the cycle too?
Mm-mm. No.
Okay.
It's only a couple of hours, dog. You had like
no. Well, no.
They switched that fast.
No, I'm saying, does it make the cycle go a little bit longer or a little bit shorter?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just asking questions.
Bro, you making us look bad. Come on, dog. Come on. Tighten up now. Shit.
Hey, legitimate questions.
In his defense, I have watched a live before where they did say when the season changes like that the cycle changes. And I was like, who the hell told you that shit? Is that you alive?
You heard
the
word season.
I don't know. Unless we're talking about like emotional, like we were talking about in our sound check with the seasonal affective disorder or seasonal depression, that can affect someone's hormones. And stress can affect hormones, and that can change the menstrual cycle. So I mean, unless you're talking about that type of thing, maybe it's around that time of year that it's starting to cause some seasonal issues, causing some hormonal changes. But I don't think that the time change should have any effect on it.
Gotcha.
Oh, hold on.
Thank
My
you,
bad.
sir.
I ain't mean to cut nobody off. Hey, we got an old head in the building. Rodney. are
Yes, you late. Rodney been
Yeah.
in the building. I done
He's
gave him
been
love
in
already.
yeah,
You
he's
late.
been in the chat.
You late. That's that old man. But so as you've touched on, and I learned about this Wednesday. Can you talk about PMDD?
PMDD. Premenstrual dysmorphic disorder. I can't even get the words out for that one, but it is like PMS. PMS will happen 3 to 5 days before your cycle. PMDD can happen up to 14 days before your cycle. PMDD is where PMS is a lot of times just physical, cravings and bloating and stuff like that. PMDD is it's a wide range of things, but it's mostly emotionally and mental. It's such a serious thing that it has been misdiagnosed as bipolar disease in many women because of the fluctuations of how 2 weeks out of the month you're good, and then 2 weeks out of the month you're extremely depressed. It can affect like your mood. It can make you angry. It can make you depressed. It can make you. A lot of women are suicidal during that time. It can cause other physical problems like fainting and blurry vision and joint pain and cramps, and it's a lot of things. It was like PMS times 100, and it's longer. And so after the first or second day of your period, you're released. So I have PMDD. It can be changed. It can be improved with diet and supplements. But I know that when it's its worst, when I'm sad and crying, I can't wait till my period gets here, because I know when it get here, I'm like, whew, I can breathe. I feel better. So a lot of women go misdiagnosed, undiagnosed with PMDD. People just think they're crazy, not realizing that it's correlating to their period, and that it's over as soon as their period starts within a day and they're feeling better. I always tell people it's one of those things where you'll lose some friends. If I wasn't I think the only reason I haven't lost friends due to my PMDD is because on a normal basis, I'm extremely nice. Like, I'm just that nice person. And so when I flip out, it usually catches people by surprise, like, whoa, something must have went on with her. But it's extreme. And I get mad over simple things. Like, I get mad because I got mad at my boyfriend the other day because I was trying to pay a bill, and he texted me. He was like, answer the phone. And I said, no. And I'm doing something. And he was like, why? Just because he said why, I was pissed. I was like, how dare he ask me why? I was so mad, and I was ready to go off. And I was like, then but the mood switches, like you get these swings, and so like an hour later, I was like, that was crazy for me to be that mad. But yep. I mean, simple things will really throw you, and people don't understand. Like, I would get mad at my friends for dumb stuff. So it's serious, and it can be treated with antidepressants. It can be treated with I treat it naturally. I'm not a medication person. So
So I was also diagnosed with that, and it was very difficult to know that before your period and having this cycle that you were going to have this time where you were completely nuts. And I did medication. I did was antidepressants for me. And I know that and I think, I mentioned that I did a classroom, and I used to have a sign that I would stick up on my door that said, today, these are not the day. This week, and my kids, I want to say that my students knew about my period better than I did, because I would be absolutely freaking crazy. And you're right about relationships, about just being so sad and just crying and having no idea why, and like you said, having a good doctor and having somebody be able to diagnose this, that you're not bipolar, you don't have personality disorder, you don't have all of this. It is strictly hormonal, and being on all forms of birth control and all of this and hormonal stuff to try to control it for years, just weighed very heavy on for me, for my life. So
and
it's a big thing that
makes it worse sometimes.
Say that again.
Sometimes birth control makes it worse, and they don't realize it, because sometimes birth control can have a side effect of making you depressed. And
yes, and I think that the best thing that has ever happened For me, and I don't care. I'll pay any kind of money again. Is a what is that? Abrasion.
Ablation.
Ablation, and I have not had a period in 3 years, and I had my tubes tied, so I'm good. Like it was
Yeah.
the best thing that ever. It was life changing.
The worst thing for me was I've always had an irregular cycle, and so to not know that I was that close to my period until I flipped out, and then was like, hold up. Oh shit. Like that's what's about to happen. Like looking at the Flow app, because I'm not every 28 days. So the Flow app will let me know, even if I'm 40 days, it knows it's going to give me that prediction. And so I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Because I wouldn't even know. Like I would flip out and think like, why am I acting like this? Oh, that's why. It's got to be my period. So yeah, and like some people use the antidepressants and love it and it works well for them. I'm just not I don't like anything affecting my mood every day. So I was prescribed, they tried to get me to take it as soon as the symptoms started, and then you stop taking it once you got your period. Again, I just don't like medications. So I wasn't one for that. I diagnosed myself. I was in college and I was in school, and I just realized that this is significant. This is something, it's not your regular PMS. This is affecting my daily life. And when it starts to affect your daily life, then it's something that, okay, we need to look at. This is not just, me getting a little moody and I need some ice cream. This is me about to get kicked out of school for talking crazy. So it's something that was serious that I needed to get evaluated for. So I always tell people, go talk to your doctor, start paying attention to your symptoms, get a period calendar, start documenting those symptoms and how they align with your period, and then go to your doctor about it, because some doctors are not even going to pay any mind to you with it unless you come there with some proof. So, or if you have a good doctor that's going to answer your questions and ask you more questions and say, okay, does this happen? Well, when are the symptoms getting better after your period starts? And that's a big one. That's how it almost lets you know that that's what it is, because as soon as your period starts, that day or two after, everything goes away and you feel better.
Yeah. Nene, you had a question?
Yes. So because I've had a partial hysterectomy, I still have both of my ovaries. And I feel like I have those PMDD moments as well. Even though I don't have a cycle, I still feel like I would have had a cycle, because I have those symptoms as well. I have those moments where I'm just like, leave me alone, get out of my face, don't talk to me. So, is that possible?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you still have ovaries. Your ovaries are still producing the hormones. It's still dropping eggs. So like you still, yeah, it's still possible. The treatment, the complete cure for PMDD is menopause or full hysterectomy. Like that's your total treatment if you want to cure it. And like ablation works too. So ablation, full hysterectomy, or menopause. And that's when you're not producing those hormones or you're not having those symptoms. So yeah, it can happen when you have a partial hysterectomy.
Listen, get this ablation. Look, I'll pay this $4,000, whatever they want. I will maintain forever.
I like my partial. I mean, I like not having a menstrual period. I mean, I really truly do. I mean, it has been awesome. And I got it when I was 36 years old, and I'm about to be 53 now. So I'm loving it. Every moment of it.
Yeah. A lot of people
have
you guys
a lot talk about that. It's like, I can't even imagine to be going through that again.
Yeah, it's a lot of people want. You say, can I just get a hysterectomy so I can just get it over with? A lot of people want to just get that to just be done, and I understand it, because I mean the things that women go through. That's why I say men sometimes just be a man and just man up and sit there in the discomfort, because you don't have to actually go through the things that we're actually physically going through. So you can at least learn about it.
And the reason I had my it was medical reasons. I had a fibroid tumor in my uterus, the size of a 10-week pregnant lady. And I had, my mother died of cervical cancer. I had an aunt on my mother's, on my, maternal side to die of, cervical cancer, like 3 months before, not 3 months, 3 years before I was diagnosed with the tumor. And so I was having a lot of discomfort during intercourse. It was horrible. Bleeding, it was horrible. So I was in pain. I would be sitting at work. T, I don't know if you were still, if you were there. I would be sitting at work and be just in tears crying because I was in so much pain. And I went to the doctor. He told me what was going on with my body. At the time, my husband was like, I don't want you to do that because you're not going to be a woman anymore. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is my body. I'm in pain. I'm hurting. So if you want to continue to have sex with me, you're going to let me have this surgery.
Right.
Like, because, or otherwise you won't be getting anything. So I had the surgery and I'm great. I love it. I'm not trying to rub it in, Nika, but I really feel great since.
The nerve of him, though.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's why he's ex.
Yeah. Be like, I'm finna get rid of my uterus and your ass. Yeah. T, is she frozen like that?
She's frozen. Look at that face.
Oh, like,
Go ahead, Kevin.
So look.
Go ahead, Kevin.
So look, I wanted to address that. My mom had a hysterectomy, and she was told by she was told by one of her boyfriends or something, you have this hysterectomy, ain't nobody really gonna want to have sex with you. And I was like, that was something really cruel to say. And I think my grandmother even told her something to that extent. But I know a friend of mine, she had one, and she couldn't stop beating the dudes off of her after they found out she couldn't get pregnant. I'm like, oh man.
Hello, ding ding ding.
Y'all just nasty. That's what y'all just nasty. Ooh.
Yeah.
Nasty.
So there's a question that asks about women's cycles becoming in sync when they either live together or they're together all the time.
So it's not proven scientifically, but it's something that I think it's like a theory, and then people see it. And so, I mean, scientifically, they can't find a reason for it, but it does happen. I've seen it happen. I mean, I've lived in a dorm with women, and
when I was in a dorm room, it happened. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a friend that has 5 sisters, and they when they all live together, their periods kind of synced. So yeah, it can happen.
Oh, that was a lot of attitude.
Yeah. I was like, I couldn't live in that house.
I couldn't either. That man, yeah, I couldn't even imagine. So because I know that conversation has been dancing around, can you tell people what an ablation is?
So there is, look, I don't want to say the wrong term. Let me grab something real quick. When people have they can have abnormal uterine bleeding, and so they kind of like burn. Let me see how I can put this. I'm always trying to figure out, because in my mind, medical terms are coming straight to my head. But what it does is a procedure they can do laparoscopically, or they can go through the vagina and they can stop the bleeding. Let me think, y'all. My brain ain't working. I think this 1942 kicking in. I can't think of the way to explain it. But it's not always successful. It's successful about 50% of the time. Some people are going to have the bleeding completely stop, and some people are still going to have bleeding. So they go in there, and you want to explain it since you had it, because the brain ain't working right
now. Basically, they went through my laparoscopic, went through my belly button and 2 other little points, and basically she went in there with a laser and basically just burns all of what is your uterine walls.
It's the wall, the uterine wall.
Yes. Uterine walls.
That kind of sloughs off when you're bleeding. They burn it off. Thank you.
So it doesn't come down anymore. So there's nothing. There's nothing to attach. It just all is burned to a crisp. And yeah, listen, recovery. It was recovery in about a week. My mom has had it done because she has fibroids. She has had it done twice, and it has been unsuccessful for her before she went into menopause. I am very lucky. I'm in that number that it was successful, and plus, I've already told y'all that my doctor is a freaking rock star, and she has a really good rate on it. The only problem is, and I'm going to be completely honest, is that she made me wait until after I was 45 because, she kept saying, you might want to have kids. You might want to do this.
Because it's not recommended if you want to have children, because pregnancy will not be successful, or it's not going to attach to the uterine wall. So
you'll just have miscarriages.
Yes. So they don't want you to have an ablation if you're still in the age of childbearing.
Right.
I'm past it.
And she was my doctor. Like I said, she's been my doctor for 20 years, and we have fought and she made me wait. And if I hadn't have trusted her, then I probably would have went to somebody else and had an unsuccessful one. Process. But it's just burning. It's no the keloid that I have is inside my belly button. I don't have any other kind of scars or anything like that. But it was a day procedure, and I was in and out in a day, and I was up in 3-4 days. And I had a little bit of period, a little bleeding from, surgery or whatever. And then it's been gone. I had some breakthrough bleeding every 6 months or so. So I'm good. I am 4 years out from the procedure. It was like I said, whatever kind of money I needed to spend to get it done again because of all the issues that I've had with the period. And all of that I just truly do appreciate that I was able to get this, and it was successful.
2 types that they do. One is more successful than the other, but they both are going to burn the endometrium. That's that layer inside of the uterus. I'm trying to think about what the 2 different names of them are, but one they found is more successful. But then I always like to let people know that it's not always successful, because I've had people come and say, I had an ablation, I'm still bleeding. Bleeding hasn't changed, or the bleeding has gotten worse. And so that's something that they need to be informed about. But like she said, laparoscopic, I was sitting here thinking, all I could think about was endometrium. I'm like, I got to figure out another way to say this. But yes, it's just a laser to the inside, that inner lining of the uterus. And I haven't had people who have had success with it. I haven't seen them complain about pain. Haven't seen that. I mean, everything is great for them. But you will see that small amount of people that will say that they didn't have any improvement with it.
Yeah.
So I was one of the ones where it didn't work on me, and my doctor needed to do something because our mothers and grandmothers did not sit us down to tell us once you reach a certain age, life changes, especially if you start early. Once you hit, say, close to 40, heading over 40, even though I'm 29, it was causing me to the point where I needed to have iron infusions because my iron was so low, like falling asleep driving.
Yeah.
And they didn't tell us this growing up. Like when you get a certain age, begin to look for this. So the ablation didn't work for me. She had to go, even though I had my tubes tied, and she put me on the Marina. And that's worked for me. And now my iron levels are up and steady going up. But the ablation didn't work for me, and I was so excited. Like I want it because I want to stop just losing my lifeline just because it's time for the cycle. So yeah, I think I'm happy for this conversation, and we need more of these conversations for our young women so that they'll know how and what to look for in their bodies, because we didn't know. We just had to learn by experience. We love our parents and grandparents. They didn't know neither. You know, as technology grows and we become more aware, we need to start having these conversations, whether we're uncomfortable or not. And yes, dads have to talk to their daughters, especially if they got their daughters most of the time. You just got to get a woman in there to help. Just like I couldn't talk to my boys about sex and the life of sex. You know, we had to add another person to that conversation, but we definitely have to continue to talk.
I think we can talk to them. We can't always expect the feedback from them. And that's why you need to get that same sex person sometimes in there to make sure that they have that understanding. But yeah, for women and young ladies, because people always ask me, especially the older women when I do those seminars, is why do you think that women, young girls should know this information this early? Is because we need to learn. And we need to know what's going on in our bodies. We need to be able to get to a point where when something goes wrong, we know that's wrong. We need to know what's normal. We need to know what's abnormal. And it goes with the same thing with the conversations when I hand out the mirrors. Why do they need to know? Because they need to know. You need to know what everything looks like. You need to know what it feels like. You need to know all of these things, because how will you know if you get a lesion on your vagina and that's vaginal cancer? How will you know that that's not normal? Or, you know, how will you know that this doesn't feel right if you don't know what the normal is? So it's very important that we have these kinds of conversations very young. I think as soon as a young girl is about to hit puberty, we should start having these conversations before she hits puberty, so she knows what to expect. She knows what is going to happen. She's not caught off guard and she's not embarrassed. And it's another thing that the conversations need to be had so that we can take away the stigma and shame when it comes to women and their bodies, because we can talk about a man's body all the time, but it's when it comes to women and the things that we go through, we're hiding tampons, we're hiding pads, when this is a biological part of life that creates life, and it's going to happen to every woman you know that is, you know, healthy. She's going to go through this process. Why is it a secret? Why are we hiding it when it's something that naturally happens? So I just feel like that stigma needs to be removed. We need to be comfortable having the conversations.
Absolutely.
So young ladies are comfortable asking the questions that need to be asked, because if it's a shame and it's a stigma and it's something we shouldn't be talking about, they're not going to come and ask you. They're not going to feel comfortable to come and ask the questions that need to be asked.
And Dr. Ken, and when they're not comfortable enough to talk, that's when that has that space of that molestation and all of those things. That's when that space is being made for those things to happen, because they don't know what's going on in the body. So people are able to say things and do things, and they don't know that that's not normal. And so you are absolutely correct. And hopefully I am definitely going to look at your TikToks and pass this along to my nieces, because I'm a big, I'm the auntie who is very hardcore. What's going on? Have you seen it? You touched it? You looked at it? Your boobies, they brand new, but you still got to check them out. Look at them in the mirror. And it's nothing sexual about it. It's not. And I've heard and I've had people say, well, if you're having these conversations early, aren't you making these girls fast?
No.
And I think that is just the most
I think we try to be able to talk to him. I talk to my son. Like I will embarrass him all the time. He'll say, well, mommy, I'm a man. I'm like, have you nut dropped yet? And he's like, I can't believe you asked me that. But I will ask him that. I'm like, if you nut dropped yet? Because no, you're not a man. Like he came home after being by his dad for a while. And he looked like he grew an inch. And I was like, oh, say something. And he tried to make his voice deeper. And I was like, nah, it ain't there yet. They still up there.
Yeah, mine does that. trying to walk around with a deep voice, and I'm like,
yeah, no, it's not.
Lord, please.
Like, my son, he knows so much about the vagina. Like, I was like, his girlfriend in the future is gonna have it because he's gonna be like, babe, your pH ain't right.
No, he gonna be single because he gonna come out his neck crazy. Like, ooh, you stink. You something wrong with your pH balance. You need to go down here and get your coochie clean. Like, ooh. Yeah.
And throw that wash rag away.
Yeah.
That part.
Throw your whole coochie
That
away.
part. So
he's gonna be on it.
You know how you always see them little moments where they be like, does her wash rag look like this? No, that ain't what that is, bro. That ain't always what that is.
My son, he had his friends' mothers came over, so he was like, "Hold up, mommy," and he brings out the samples. Here, you can use my mom's wash, and he's telling them about the wash.
That's what's up. Advertise it. That's what's up.
I just feel like he's not gonna let her just. She's just not gonna live nothing down.
That's what's up. Hey, that the kids are the best supporters. Yeah. So that I love that part. My son does that too. We be at the barber shop. Hey, tell him about the podcast. Yeah. Yeah. So they definitely are. I also posted her TikTok in the comments. For anybody that's interested, please go follow her because I'm telling you, you're gonna learn something. There's nowhere you're not going to learn anything from her lives or her videos. I'm learning, so I love it. So that's what's up. Somebody Alex the man had a question. He said, if menstruation is a self-cleaning process, how does the cleaning process change when ladies have a hysterectomy?
So that's not your self-cleaning process. Your self-cleaning process is your discharge. Your menstruation is your body ridding itself of the egg that did not get fertilized. So once you have that hysterectomy, you no longer need that. Here you go. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm double tasking here.
You're good.
I have another question. I have discovered in the last year or two waxing and sugaring.
I'm sorry, waxing what?
Waxing or sugaring, like the sugar. What are your thoughts on that whole thing?
I'm all for waxing. I did a video on the pros and cons of waxing, shaving versus being au natural. There's benefits of both. Like let's say not shaving or waxing, you have that barrier so that you don't have kind of protects you from STDs and things like that. It carries pheromones to help you smell sexier. But waxing can make you feel cleaner, but you can have some people are super sensitive and can have irritation from the wax or from any shaving products or hair products. But there's not one that's healthier over the other. It's all about choice. And I just think if you're sensitive, you may want to really look into the more sensitive types of waxing products, try to see what products people may use. Hard wax or the soft wax, some things may be a little bit better for you. So people who have really sensitive skin, usually the hard wax works better for them. So it just really depends on each person.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because sugaring has made a major difference for me. Just and I don't have any what's it called? I don't have any consequences from it, no repercussions from it. I think that my biggest thing is exfoliating and making sure that having a good exfoliator, a good scrub, so exfoliating on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
I mean, throughout the week and stuff, not every day, but that has helped a lot. So that is definitely something that, once again, is a game changer.
Is that what sugaring is?
Sugaring is
exfoliating?
Yes. No, it's like a wax, but it's a hard.
Yeah.
It's instead of the wax where they do it, they just have a ball of hot sugar, like a ball of, and they make a little wax, and they rub it across the skin to pull it. To me, it has made my hair so much finer.
Oh.
And when I was going at first and going maybe twice a month, I'm now down to where I can go almost 8 weeks
Oh, okay.
in
I
between.
just wax. I just do the wax. I go get
Try
wax.
sugaring. I mean, try
Okay. I'm gonna ask.
and
I'm
see.
glad y'all.
I'm gonna ask
Candy
about that.
coated
'Cause I didn't even know about that at all.
Yeah, I'm
definitely.
glad y'all
If you're in
explained that,
Dallas,
'cause-
I'll send you the information.
Please, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
glad
now-
y'all explained that
so now
because
is the-
I was tripping. So like, I'm thinking you put sugar in your cookie. I'm like, that's where they get sugar walls from. Okay, it makes sense now.
Now I do. Now when she said sugaring, I
Oh
do
my God.
exfoliate with sugar and Vaseline. I do use
Sugar
sugar.
scrub. Yeah.
A sugar scrub. I use it
Sugar
on
and
my
Vaseline.
face, on my body. Sometimes I do use that. So that's what I thought she meant about sugaring. So I'm
I
going
thought
to
she was talking
definitely
about putting
try
it in the
that.
stuff to make it sweet. And I was like, okay.
No, sugaring is the place it's sugar cookie. So it is definitely a process, and everything is going fine. But I definitely will put that in the
chat, in our chat, in our what do you call it?
Yeah. And the one we have for the messenger for this week.
Yeah,
You can throw
messenger
it off
chat.
in it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can put it in there.
Well, I'm glad. I'm learning a lot. I learned it. I learned it today. I learned it.
So you've learned, Kev. You've learned. You guys are gonna be easier on women now because you
I'm
know
always easy
now
on women. You take
that
because I don't know.
it's not us being crazy. It's a hormone thing.
Yeah.
Now that's
It's
a lie. Hold on, you
hormones.
stressing it now,
So
sister.
you'll
You
be more
stressing it.
understanding.
You stressing it now, sister. Now you stressing it. Hold on.
You have to be more understanding.
Hold on.
And I really feel like sometimes men may have some of those moments.
I swear, I think sometimes men have a period. I don't know.
Yes.
We do.
Well,
Yes.
We do.
Well, look. Okay, so the sugaring and the waxing. I didn't know about the sugaring. I knew about the waxing. How is that more? Is that in using the trimmers down there? Because some women use the trimmers and they want the strip and they want yeah.
I think the
You
dudes
talking about
want the
lawnmower?
strip, the landing strip.
Yeah. What's your question?
You know, some women have trimmers, and I want to know is the trimmer, is the wax put it like is the waxing and the sugaring better than the trimmers?
Go ahead.
It really just depends on each person. Like if they want to do. Some people are scared of pain, so that's why they don't go for the waxing. They'll say I'll shave. It's just really up to I don't know. Everybody's reason for what they do it could be completely different. I don't know if some people using certain type of trimmers, some people using razors, but neither one is better than the other health wise.
Personal opinion, Kev. I think with waxing, like Frankie said, I don't have to do it as often. I don't have to go as often as if I'm shaving under my arms, where you pretty much have to do it maybe every other day or every 2 to 3 days, maybe, or so, versus, getting waxed. Because when you get waxed, it's ripping follicles and all of that.
Ripping the hair from the follicles.
It takes a little bit longer to grow back.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Now, are you going to be practicing on somebody?
Right, because he has to.
No.
Don't be over there licking the sugar off your body, Kevin.
I have used trimmers on a woman, and I have used a razor. So yeah, I've done that before.
Look at Kevin being a barber.
Now you finna be over there sugar in the coop. You're gonna be.
Oh no, Kevin can't sugar. He got diabetes. He must run and eat that motherfucker. He be fucked up.
Boy, if you don't close your mouth. You just can't help yourself sometimes.
You know,
we'll have to call and check on his ass. Come up missing.
oh,
Talk about
oh
something
my
he
God.
tried to help her with a sugar scrub. No.
So I'm gonna ask this question because a lot of us on the panel are, well, somebody coming up on 40, but for us 40 and over, because baby, what can you do that's naturally for premenopause or menopause? Because I know for me, I'd be hot as hell. I didn't have to add a fan in the kitchen for me because, baby, if I could take these braids out sometime, they're going to do just like this. That's why I ain't trying to wear no wig because I had to take the baby. They'd be seeing some real complications.
It's hard to deal with, but you can do. There's different herbs that you can do that can help with hot flashes. Like I told you, like that G-spot has different herbs in there. Vitamin E. Some people say soy helps. Naturally, though, it's going to be some herbs. I'm going to have to send them to you. I have a list of them.
That'll work. Again, if y'all have not followed her on IG, TikTok, please do so. You will definitely learn something. There's no way you cannot. I'm telling you, I learn something every time I watch her lives. Also, I've posted the links and sent them to everybody that has text me and message me. So I hope y'all got them. If not, let me know. I will resend that to you. Like I said, man, say the WAP wash. This my new shit right here. Like real talk, this my new shit. Like I'm partial to the cucumber, which is the sensitive, because I love cucumber, but it is, man, this is game changer. She also has, as y'all are learning, other supplements because she even has weight loss. She has one for sleep. Like, go on and talk about them other supplements, man.
So I have
what's the one for sleep called?
I didn't see that on the page.
There's another website. That one is under renovationmax.com. That's my supplements. So my supplements they were curated for the busy woman. I felt like I was seeing a lot of women who were suffering with stress, with weight gain, with all of these changes due to the stress in their lives. So I put all these vitamins together. The most common one on there is G-Spot. Power Drive is my multivitamin, helps with energy. There's Peacemaker's for anxiety, because again, I like natural. I don't like prescribing Xanax and Valium because people feel like people who are suffering with anxiety don't need to be put to sleep or kind of just put down with some Valium, right? And so Peacemaker helps to repurpose that nervous energy that you're having and makes you more productive. So it has L-theanine, it has GABA, it has all of those ashwagandha, all those type of herbs that are natural that help to calm you and make you more productive, help you think clearer. There is omega-3 fish oil, which I take for my PMDD. There's vitamin D. What else I have on there? It's got I'm trying to think, do I have any in front? I have a couple. I had Peacemaker in front of me and I had Omega. There's a few.
You got the digester.
So that the digester are digestive enzymes. So sometimes if you're eating and you feel like if you eat a certain thing, you get bloated, you're getting uncomfortable, you're getting really tired. Sometimes our bodies are missing the digestive enzymes that we need to properly digest the food. So you should not be getting bloated or having abdominal discomfort after eating certain foods. So if you I can't eat that because that's what's going to happen to me, then the digester is going to help you to be able to break down those proteins that your body's not breaking down, that's causing you to have symptoms. So that's what the digester is. There is the gut renovator, that's a probiotic. There's Ready Set Cleanse, which is a cleanser. What else I got on there?
What's the one for sleep called? Wap you to sleep?
It's called Dream Love. I got my interesting names. I have Dream Lover. Dream Lover is the one that's for sleep.
I'm looking at Peacemaker now.
Peacemaker is one of my most popular. So Peacemaker, the things that sell the most are G-Spot, Peacemaker, and Power Drive.
Yeah, the ashwagandha.
Those sound like damn pornos.
I do the ashwagandha gummies.
Yeah, ashwagandha
I do too. Yep,
goalie.
I do too. It's the truth, boy.
Yeah.
So y'all gonna link up in the after party. So we just gonna let that go. So check this out. I'm finna go there. We talking about all the coochie health and stuff like that. So what can you say about the backdoor action?
Oh,
So my biggest thing with that is I always, and it's so common sense, but people don't realize it's common sense. Once if you're in the front and you go to the back, don't come back to the front. Like
don't. And I know a whole lot of people that do that.
Because now you cause yourself a whole lot of problems. Now you got BV, now you got a UTI, now you got everything else in the world. So if you went to the back, you just stay back there and call it a night.
Yes, you can't be switching up.
That is the truth, though. That is so true. Why would you want?
There's a reason why they say white front to back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, but you know, some women don't white front to back.
Exactly.
That's their problem. They got a problem.
Yeah, it seemed like it's common sense, but it's not. I
It's
realize it's not common sense. I mean, I've had lots of patients, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I gotta explain this to you, but yeah.
So since we've had this the woman's version of the conversation, how can men clean properly?
Washing with their hands, using using a mild cleanser, whether it's CeraVe or Dove Sensitive or Dr. Ken's Hot Wash. If they are uncircumcised, making sure they pull that skin back, making sure they clean behind that skin, making sure they rinse properly, and making sure they just clean, regularly.
I use Dove Men's, and I find that to be a very good product for me because I was using what was in the house, which was the Dial.
Don't use that.
Irish Spring. No.
Damn.
And I just
everybody like
wash your body with sandpaper.
When they came out with the men's Dove, I just got immediately hooked with the soaps, the body washes, the shampoo, everything.
It smells great. Product.
Yep, and it smells great.
Dove.
Yeah. I'm okay with telling people, like, when people use Dove, when it comes to women, if they're still getting irritated, I tell them, maybe you need to switch from Dove. If Dove is working for you and you're not having any problems, go ahead and use it. I use Dove my whole life. So I'm not against it. I just, for women who are having problems with irritation constantly, Dove may not be your answer. You may want to go to something more sensitive, something that's pH balanced, especially if your vagina is very sensitive to any pH changes. And so if you have a partner that's super sensitive, she may require you to, or ask you to use something that's pH balanced in that area. So you use Dove everywhere else, but just in that area, could you use, something that's pH balanced?
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Hope says she's gonna stay a virgin back there.
Yeah.
Listen.
No, she ain't. I don't know why she's playing. I'm just playing. I'm joking.
Didn't you have a question that you posted to us in Messenger yesterday that you said you was gonna ask?
Look, I wasn't finna open nothing back up. I was looking at the time and thinking we was gonna have a part 2 one day.
Oh, we planned it, and she's actually open to coming back to future episodes. Pretty much everything that I listed for season 7 for us to do. She's like, oh, I love talking about that. Bam. So she's gonna be back.
See, then I'll hold it because I want to ask some questions about that curve they be so proud of and other things.
Yes.
I thought that was broke. I thought that was a handicap. Like they had a retarded dick.
Well, they talk about it on TV.
Some just have a curve.
It's a curve, so nothing wrong with it. It's just hooked to the left or right. Okay.
It's like a back scratcher. You just scratch a certain side a little more than the others.
A back scratcher too, really?
I said it's like a back scratcher, but it just gonna get that one. Gonna get the left better than the right. You go.
Well, all right then. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying, oh,
Like,
all right.
Well, thank you for your free shipping. I'm placing my order right now, Dr. Ken.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
great.
yeah, most
You
definitely.
doing the
Yeah,
G
y'all.
spot?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sure
And
enough looking.
the pack, the G spot, and the power drive.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. G Spot, I will say G
Now,
Spot is amazing. I love G Spot. For me, like with the PMDD, I take it when I feel like my mood is slipping. Let me take one of these so I can get in a better mood. It does help with that for me. And then for people who having sex drive issues, it's amazing, and it helps like for menopause symptoms, dryness, everything. It's good stuff. I have most of the people that buy it, they buy it over and over and over again. I don't even advertise it; they just keep buying it.
now this your product of the gut renovator, um, men and women can take that, right? Just
Yes,
checking.
yes.
Okay,
Is that like a
Most of the
great.
laxative?
products on there are for both men and women. I just targeted for women, because that's what I was dealing with mostly when I created them. What did he ask?
Is
Is
that
that
a
like a
Was it
laxative?
a
laxative?
laxative?
The gut renovator? No, it's not a laxative. It's a
Okay.
So the names come from because I know you keep commenting on the names. The name of it is under renovation. That comes from my own healing through my divorce. And so the supplement names are kind of based on just renovating your body and renovating your life. And so
Okay,
that's where it says gut renovator comes from.
okay,
Got it.
okay.
I love that.
Understood.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah. I like the I like the names. Oh,
But
absolutely.
Yeah.
thank you so much, Dr. Ken. I
Thank you
really
guys for
appreciate
having me.
all the questions being answered and being patient with us,
Mhm.
especially DA.
Definitely that one.
Y'all are funny.
Ah.
I love it.
Yes, that part. So you sure you ain't gonna ask your question, Peace? You know your memory ain't that good.
No, see, okay, I'm gonna go on and ask. My question was because I had saw an article, and then I'm gonna shut up. I've been trying to, but it was in reference to herpes. It seems like that's something that's just out here, and it's going crazy. People catching it, didn't know they having it, they passing it, and all that good stuff.
Mhm.
Well, not good stuff, but all that kind of stuff. So, I guess besides the obvious, like, how do you even go about? Because people aren't always honest, and outside of going to the doctor and I guess getting those checks and finding out like, and I guess open lesions, and just give us some information about that. Because I'm like,
So herpes is sneaky. Herpes is scary. Um, I'm gonna give y'all a story. I'm a Usher fan. Usher's my husband, and so a few years ago,
That is a
Usher had
fine young man.
yeah, that's my husband. That's my husband for
Woo!
real. So
I said that too.
a few years ago, he had a little everything was coming up with saying Usher had herpes, whatever. So everybody was waiting on me because everybody on my Facebook know Usher's my husband. So they were waiting. So finally, when I finally did say something, I was like, all y'all talking about Usher, but y'all still thinking that's a razor bump that pops up every month. And it's just like everybody was like, whoa, like, but it's one of those things that so many people, over 50% of the population has herpes, and 80% of them don't know they have it, and that's the sad part. And
yeah,
so you can have it and not know you have it. You can spread it and not know you have it. You can think it's a razor bump and it's herpes. You can think it's like I see it so much. I had a patient come in and told me she was in a hospital the month prior, and she had like a bed sore, and then it went away, and then she came back. She's like, it came back. And I look at it, I was like, that's not a bed sore, that's herpes. And she was just so confused because it was on her butt, and I was like, yeah, that's herpes. And so she
what?
went off, and
Like on
she
her
on her
anal
butt,
area?
on her, like her lower, like it was like on her, like on the fatty tissue of her butt.
You can get, look, I didn't know that.
Can
You
get
can
it
get,
anywhere. I saw him
Wow.
with it on his inner thighs. A man came in inner thighs. So I tested her because she did not believe me. I tested her, came back. She was like, I cannot believe it. I'm gonna kill him. She was ready to go home and kill her husband.
Oh shit.
I've had people when I worked with the Navy, I had a husband come in and he said, I got this bump here. I don't know what this bump is. I looked at the bump and I said, sir, that's herpes. He went home, cut up with his wife. Him and his wife came, they're both crying. They didn't fought each other, all of this stuff. Come to find out, we test him. I'm telling him calm down because it's only one bump. So I'm almost sure this is herpes simplex 1. So he's not hearing nothing I say. I test both of them. It's herpes simplex 1. I said, ma'am, have you ever had cold sores? She was like, yes. She just gave it to him through oral. So it was just herpes simplex 1. So you can give herpes simplex 1 in the genital area. It's more likely to go away and you never have it again, but it can happen. So it's one of those things where it's hard to protect because you can wear condoms and still get it because you will have a viral shedding. And again, like I said, you can not know you have it and give it to someone else. So when it comes to couples that have been married for a while or that's been together, I don't know how long, I tell them, like, you really don't know who gave it to who. You think he may have been cheating on you, but maybe you had it and gave it to him and you just didn't know you had it. And now you're having an outbreak. It's sneaky. It's hard to deal with. It's scary because you just don't know if you can, how you protect yourself from it. And I tell people all the time, don't judge because most likely you might have it. You don't even know. Like, you get in that same bump in that same place every month. that might not just be a razor bump. That might be.
I'm gonna live in a bubble. I'm gonna become the bubble guy.
Wow.
I ain't gonna trust Uber Eats, Grubhub. Nope. Hey, wash my bag with bleach. Fuck that.
Yeah, it's a scary. Herpes is one of the scariest to me because I mean, I've seen it at its worst. I've seen a girl come in, a young girl, telling me, she's like, I had and I felt like this needed to be, but she was over age, so I felt like I couldn't call the police, but she was like 19 and she had been with this older guy, and she said she had rough sex, and she came in, and when I swear I almost died when I looked down there. I mean, her whole vagina was just full with herpes, like blisters. And she thought it was rough sex. No, he had herpes and he gave it to her. And it was bad. It was horrible. It was the worst I had ever seen in my life. And I mean, I literally cried when I left out of there. I was like, if she was younger, I would have called the police because he was obviously older, took advantage of her. She must have been like, I think she was 18. But I've seen guys come in and they have like blisters all down the inner thigh. I've seen it everywhere. You can have it on your lower stomach. It's wherever that virus shed onto your body.
Wow.
Did you say shed or shit?
Shed.
Oh
So
my God.
if it can be like anywhere, there's nothing really in particular that you can look for to even be like,
I mean, you can
like
look
for your partner.
You can look for, the sores, but like I said, it's not going to always be there.
Yeah.
You can spread it without having that. So if you see anything suspect, take a closer look, ask questions. Say, you know what, we're going to pause till you figure that out.
Right.
And
That's
then
why you gotta have sex with the lights on. You gotta turn all the lights on.
Damn the lights. I'm gonna be with a magnifying glass.
With the new partner inspects. I mean, that's the importance of getting tested in between partners. Especially, you need to tell your doctor that you want to be tested for HSV because that is not in the normal panel of testing. So a lot of times they will not test you for that. And the reason they don't test you for that is a lot of times they don't want to deal with it because, like I said, most people are undiagnosed. And if you have it, they're like, okay, now I got to deal with this. And they've been having this for years. So you have to tell them that you want to get tested for that.
Wow.
If I could take a picture of all y'all faces right now.
Look, I wasn't gonna do it. I was like, but it's been out there like crazy lately.
That's what makes it so scary out here in these streets, trying to date over 50. And it's scary. I mean, and
Yep.
I get these young dudes in my inbox, and because I'm older, they're thinking, oh, I can just play with her. She's a cougar. No, you can't play with me. So
you ain't no cougar.
So no, you can't play with me.
She got quiet. She like had to think like, oh,
you can't play with me. So
no.
No.
So Dr. Ken, what do you say about going out here and you are, wanting to be sexually active, but it's terrifying. Like I want to be in the streets, but I'm standing on the sidewalk and really over in the grass.
Yeah.
I think we have to be we gotta be really you gotta not care what people think. You gotta say, you know what, I'm protecting me. And I know it may seem like this is an inconvenience, but I need to either like I think we need to get to the point where we're like, okay, where your test results at? Let me see how long you've been single. Let me see what you got going on here, or let me examine it. Let me take a look. Let's go to the clinic real quick because we can get results in a day or two. Like I think we have to get to that point where we are comfortable protecting ourselves and not being worried about, oh, that's gonna ruin something, you know, or he ain't gonna want to deal with that. Well, if he don't want to deal with that, then he don't want to deal with that.
Yep.
But you really got to get to the point. Like I think it needs to be normal practice where we're like, okay, let's go get tested real quick. That's what we're gonna do tomorrow. Let's get it tested. I mean, you can get results in the next day.
I think that my friends who are gay, they are much more comfortable having those conversations with each other.
They are.
That
they are.
Than us who are heterosexual. I think that they have been and seen people die and get sick, and that they know, and that they are just they really hardcore about that. And I think that you are correct in that we must start taking that out.
We have to normalize that, because I think a lot of times, especially as women, we will do things that we're not comfortable doing, and women will say they don't do it, but most women will. And when it comes to sex, we have all done it in our lives where we've done something we weren't comfortable with because we didn't want to run him away, or we didn't want him to not like us or not look at us a certain way. But we have to get past that point. We have to say, you know what, this is what I want. I'm not going to do something that I'm not comfortable with. I'm a grown woman. I tell little girls all the time when I'm telling them about sex, you know, there's no rush for it because they got a million of them out there. Like they come a dime a dozen. Like they're gonna be there. I promise you, they're gonna always be there. So you don't have to rush it. And then as for adult grown women, we have to be comfortable with saying, let's get tested. Let's make sure you're clean. I'm not judging you, but I don't know where you've been. I don't know who you've been with.
Right. And I think that
I'm gonna make them post some bleach on it. Here you go.
Did you say post some bleach?
Yeah, put some bleach on it.
I think that I'm comfortable in saying that I've been tested and showing, but actually demanding that documentation from somebody else is something that definitely I need to add to my repertoire, instead of just being like, I can't talk to you. I feel like I looked at your teeth and nah. I know if you ain't been to the dentist, I'm for sure.
That's Frank,
you need dental records and everything now. Yeah.
That's true. She just said somebody with some I'm like, gonna fuck your coochie up.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it all the time. You got the nicest shoes on your feet, but their teeth be messed up. And I'm just like,
that part.
That's hard.
That's
I got
true.
a cousin like that.
I mean, dressed to the nines, but then I tell them to open their mouth, and they're scared to open their mouth. And I'm like, come on, just open your mouth. I'm like, oh, that's why.
Like,
but I mean, dressed.
Got all that stuff on their tongue, looking like they've been licking powder.
Nasty.
I was set up on a blind date 2 weeks ago.
Oh, you slacking because you didn't tell me this one.
Girl, it didn't go nowhere because all he had to do was say hello, and the breath.
He had a Lionel Richie.
The breath was horrible.
Is it me you're looking for?
The breath was horrible. I didn't, and then my friend was like,
"It's not from their teeth. It could be from other things too, though. Like I've diagnosed H. pylori because of a patient's breath, because his breath was killing me every time he came in. And I was like, "Have you ever been tested?" And tested him. He was like, "What?" And he came back after he was treating me. He was like, "Thanks, doc. My wife kept telling me my breath stank." But yeah, it could be from other stuff too. So.
And he told me he was diabetic. I said that's why his breath stinks.
Yeah, it could be. It could be anything. It could.
I'm over here googling like a mug right now, for real. I'm like,
oh, you can be being a diabetic make your breath
stink. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of times, it's like a sweet smell that just don't smell right. It can smell kind of like metallic. When it's that diabetic smell. It could be a stomach issue.
Right.
Most of the time it's a stomach issue. They have a bacteria in their stomach called H. pylori, and that will cause them to have really, really, really bad breath. It could be tonsil stones in their tonsils that's causing it. It can be a lot of things.
Yeah. His was bad. I mean, like it smelled like doo-doo for real. Like for real.
Yeah.
Bad.
I can believe.
And I was trying my best to be nice and not face him. And I kind of like was, and thank God we were at a bar. So we were sitting at an actual bar.
Wait,
so
Nene,
we were sitting
Nene.
at the bar. So I kept facing the bar
Nene,
and not
Nene.
him. So I wouldn't have to turn to him
Nene.
because it was just it was
Lord.
horrible. And and my friend was like,
Nene.
"Oh, he's so nice looking. He's got, he's got money." I said, "Well, he needs to take that money and go to the dentist."
Nene.
What?
Did you just say you tried to be nice and not face him?
I didn't face him.
Did you say not face
straight?
him?
I kept looking straight. I kept acting like I was so interested in the game on the TV. Thank God it was on a Monday night football game, and I was pretending like I was so into that game.
Lord, okay, I'm
I
done.
did. It was
all right, good night,
bad.
good night,
Oh,
good
man.
people. Good night.
I wouldn't have been able to eat or drink nothing.
I didn't. I
sick
did
in my
have a
damn
drink.
stomach.
I said, Lord, I'm gonna need a drink to get through this because
I've been around. I've been standing around. It'll be me and two other dudes, and I just be like, God damn, what the hell? They be sitting there talking, and their breath is just like hitting me, and I just turn around like I'm still listening. I'm looking at something else. I'm like, nope. Yeah, people have other stuff going on with them, and they don't realize it.
So, okay, I'm gonna ask one more question, then I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna be done. I promise.
For somebody that didn't want to ask their questions anyway, now they coming up out the.
Because y'all was asking everything. Somebody got to be quiet sometimes. Okay, so my last question: what about them people that got them body odors, and even after they bathe, they still got them?
That's a bacteria. Usually it could be a bacteria that's on their body, or it could be something that they're eating. And so sometimes their body needs to be cleaned from the inside out to stop that odor. It's kind of hard to fix when people tell me about it. I'm like, okay, we'll try this, try that. But I've had patience with it. And sometimes just getting them like a body deodorant like Lumi will help, because sometimes people just have odors in certain places. And like I said, sometimes it's just something going on where they need a cleanse. They actually need a gut cleanse that's going to help them so they can clean it from the inside out. Their liver needs to be cleansed because maybe they're processing things the way it's supposed to, and it's coming through their skin. So it just really depends on that person. Like I said, sometimes it's an inside issue, and sometimes they just need a body deodorant.
Wow. Yeah.
And I did post the body deodorant.
Remember the guy was telling you about with the hands, where he had the stanky hands? Yeah. It wasn't so much in his body, but them hands were stinking, and I always wondered what it could have been.
Somebody had stinky hands.
He had stinky hands. Like, his hands stank. Like, not so much.
Even after he bathed?
After he washed his hands.
Maybe he had those sweaty palms, and that.
I don't know.
I do remember that story.
Man, I've always wondered like what I could have done to maybe, because he was a great guy. It was just that boy hands was like he'd been scratching balls or booty or something, and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, he was so, and he that would have been my prince, but them hands. Oh Lord!
It sound like an episode of Seinfeld.
Them hands, and I've always like wondered what could it have been, because if you go scrub your hands and you come out and your hands still smell like not hands, and then I don't know what he could have done. Like, how do you, babe? Can we go to the doctor so you can get your hands checked? Like, I
I
So,
love
okay.
Dr. Ken, I love how you're laughing, but you're trying not to laugh. And you're trying to be professional about it.
But the thing is, so she's admitting it's a thing, but it's probably not so much where it be hands, it be bodies.
I never heard of hands. That's just weird.
It was
I don't know.
It was hands, and he didn't have nails, so it wasn't like it was something under the nails. It was something in this area.
And it was just his hands, his other body parts
Look,
didn't
I
smell.
wasn't trying to get close to the rest. I wasn't trying to do the. We went on some dates. He was nice, but them hands were not what they needed to be.
Why you ain't tell him to put his hands in his pocket?
To see, like, is it the rest? Or is it they cologne? So it's like, maybe I don't think it's the rest, but I knew for sure it was the hands.
Maybe he was a chef and chopping onions or garlic.
They didn't smell like onions. It wasn't an onion smell.
I mean, because I know when I chop garlic, when I'm doing garlic, I know sometimes it stays on my hands and I can wash my hands and I'm like, dang, I still smell garlic.
Yeah.
I think she preferred garlic. Basically, I think his hands smell like homeboy breath that you was dealing with. Yeah.
And it was kind of almost all the time I would see him, and I'm like, so then one time I met him at his house, and we was gonna go out, and he hopped in the shower and he came out, and later on, I still smelled this Negro hands. I'm like, bro.
So wait, hold on, stop.
Where he want to go and like get your stuff and try to, Nick, your hands stink. Like, I could do all of this myself. Just
let me hold on. Were you just going around sniffing hands?
No,
let me smell your hand.
That's another show. But what matters is I need to go and tell if I ever run into it again. I need to be like, Doc. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to come in the clinic and ask for?
His hand stink.
Just say it. So would that be a dermatologist? Like, where would you begin?
I would start with some labs to try to figure out what's going on. It's something I don't know that I think I would treat it like regular body odor and try to do some type of cleanse. Something
bleach.
Something internally.
Soak his hand in bleach and holy water.
Thanks, Pinks. I think you have really stumped Dr. Ken with that one tonight. She is over there. She's trying not to laugh.
Look, I was almost crying.
I think I'm playing. He touched my pizza. I didn't even want to eat.
I didn't want to eat.
Yeah, he tried. That's when it was over. Like he tried to get a piece of pizza, and we at the little Chuck E. Cheese, and he go gets the pizza and try to pull me out. I'm like, I'll get it myself.
So he never wore gloves, huh?
Oh my gosh. That was me facing forward. I would have faced forward. I would have had tunnel vision right then. Just boom.
Yeah. But he's married now and has kids, and we're still Facebook friends. But I want to ask sometime, like, I see you around.
Right.
But yeah, okay.
You want to email his wife and ask, do his hands still stink?
Like, did he ever get reconciled?
All right, so we're definitely at about the 2:30 mark. So we're gonna go ahead and do outros, so we can let everybody disperse and go do what they got to do. So, Kev, you want to start outros tonight?
Yeah. Thank you for coming on this informative show, Dr. Ken. I am following you now on TikTok, and I visited a couple of your websites, and I will be making a purchase.
Thank you.
I've learned a lot. I've learned quite a bit, and you really explained that cup thing to me better. So, yeah, thank you for inviting me on the show. Another great episode of the Chronicles.
Well, stuff. All right, Sister E.
I've had a ball tonight, just laughing, learning, listening. I too have been on your website. Yeah, I've been multitasking. So I appreciate the information. You would think, because I'm 29, I know it all, but I don't. Yes, I'm 29. Y'all heard it right. Just like it's morning anyways. But I appreciate it. And it's more of these conversations are needed. Our brothers need to know, that Nick Kennedy's can't keep going around. We got to pay attention to what we're doing and who we doing. So I appreciate tonight. Look forward to what's next.
All right, that's what's up. Nene.
Oh shit.
I have truly enjoyed this very, very educational episode tonight. Dr. Ken, thank you so much. I went on TikTok to follow you and realized I was already following you. So I was already in the know. So I have also went on your website and ordered some stuff, and I will be purchasing. Yes, ma'am. I'm still going through. Unlike I can't multitask. I'm not a very good multitasker. I'm not. I admit that too. So, but I want to thank T for always thinking of me and inviting me on. And I've really had a great time tonight. And again, thank you, Dr. Ken, excuse me, for every answered question and your professional attitude. I love it. Thank you so much.
Frankie.
Just the same thing. Thank you very much, Dr. Ken. I truly appreciate this conversation. I definitely, I think that I'm definitely going to share. I don't have TikTok, so I'm going to have to figure out where else to follow you. I can't add anything else to my social media plate. So I'm going to have to.
You got IG. She has IG.
I'm on Instagram.
Okay, well, I'm going to find. Please put your
I got you.
Instagram in the comments for us. But I have already ordered my products because I can multitask. And I look forward to using those. But I just want to continue to say, continue doing what you do. Please have these conversations with our young girls, our mid-age girls, our old ladies, everyone. Please continue to spread this word because even though the comments such as what Nick Cannon is saying about that, women's vagina should automatically smell like water, puts a lot of self-doubt and it puts a lot of pressure on young ladies who don't know any better, who don't have a relationship with their doctor. And it just keeps that whole cycle of self-hate going. And I truly appreciate you going out there and making these comments and having something to say and being in a way that they know that that this might be just through social media, but you are giving education facts and, saying a contrary opinion. So I just really do appreciate that. And I definitely will be sharing your site with others.
Thank you.
And thank you.
All right. DA.
First and foremost, I would like to say thank you for Dr. Ken coming on, spitting knowledge, helping us understand how complicated women's internal organs are. I'm glad all of the extra guests came in and dropped knowledge and just came along to fellowship and laugh and see how silly everybody is. And lastly, take care of your coochies. Take care of them. They're gonna take care of you. Men's do the same thing. Yeah, that's it.
We ain't learned nothing. We haven't learned nothing today. We haven't learned nothing today.
I just want to fight him. That's all I want to do right now.
I mean, like,
I just really want to just boof. Okay, so I'm just thankful y'all are all here. We laugh, we talk, some very important topics. Sexual health is very important. Um, and just getting tested and knowing about our bodies and taking care of them the best that we can, knowing what's right, what's not right, what's supposed to smell what way, check this out, check that, just being aware and informative because a lot of people don't know. So hopefully this helps somebody. Um, and again, thanks to the panel, y'all being here. Y'all amazing. Rock out. Dr. Ken, yes, you are like my new favorite person. I wish you were here so I could be like, girl, listen.
Right?
In the future. It was great. I'm glad I was a part of this session. It was good stuff.
All right. And Dr. Ken.
Yeah, I was so nervous to do this, but you guys are so great. Y'all hilarious. So I really enjoyed it. And I'm so happy that you guys got something from it. DA with all my little vagina models. He's like, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. And so thank you so much for having me. Like I said, I'm on TikTok. I go live every Wednesday. Answer all kind of questions. Questions are crazy. So if you want to see me again on there, definitely come and see me on live at TikTok. I think I go on 9:30 Central. And definitely have me back one day because y'all are extra.
Yes. Most deaf, yes.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're very welcome. So I thank everybody for coming on, everybody for coming back, our repeats. Sister E, when you get a chance, check your inbox on Messenger because I messaged you about a episode that I want to do also after we talked the other day. So thank y'all again for everybody turning in. I thank y'all for the love and support as always. I thank y'all for coming in and watching and asking questions. Y'all know I like to debunk the stigmas and open those doors because a lot of those doors are closed. So that is the main purpose for this podcast, is to educate and for us to learn and unlearn, because there's a lot of unlearning that we have to do. And just create a platform for everybody to have a voice. Dr. Ken, and I tell you, I love you to pieces. I do. Last couple of months watching you, I was like, oh God, I gotta have her on. And when you said yes, I was like on a whole different cloud. You don't even understand.
She really was.
I was. Even after I sound checked the other day, I was calling everybody. I was like, man, this gonna be lit Saturday. I was on a whole, like I won the lottery. I was on a whole different level. So I was super excited. And I thank you for taking time and coming out with us. I even thank you for as much as you have your following that you haven't gotten that bougie-itis where people don't come on and talk and then they want to charge you $500 for you to come. Yeah. We done ran into them problems. Yeah, we done had some of them problems. So I definitely thank you for that. I think this is a perfect way to end our sixth season. And everything. So yes, this was just super duper awesome. I definitely appreciate all of y'all. Dr. Ken will be back because, like I said, when we talked the other day, she talked about some stuff, relationships, the generation, what was it, gender roles. And y'all already know that was an episode I'm looking to bring back for this year after the TikTok debacle. She's like, oh yeah, I'm down for it. I'm like, bet. So next time she's available, we gonna work it out so she can come on and talk about that, spit the knowledge and stuff on that. So like we ready, we here. It is what it is. We doing it to it. This is a new family member that we didn't just definitely loved and embraced and brought into the fold. So I definitely love it and appreciate it. Everybody, like I said again, please like, share, follow us as well as Dr. Ken if you have not. Next week, don't know what the topic gonna be yet, but we'll just look for the flies. We work that out. But thank y'all again. Much love to y'all. And I definitely thank you for the support. Never thought we would be going into season 7, but we out here. in the good way, we out here. So definitely tune in, like, share, subscribe. Have a great, safe week. Panel, if anybody wants to stay on after we end, please do so. If not, y'all be safe. Much love to y'all. I appreciate y'all. We out.